got the little man, you got the big man, and you got the bigger man.
Yes, new year, new camera angle. Oh, wait, I made a note about this. Right, the camera's not there anymore. It's here. Hi, everybody. Yes, there you are. I'm Kellen Nitro. Welcome to the very first Classic Nitros take of 2025, where we go back 20 years to 2005. What? It's already 20 years ago? That's unreal. Anyways, Kellen Nitro here. Welcome to kind of the Oprah's Book Club. If this is the first time you've ever jumped on Nitro Maniacs TV's Wrestling Unlimited, the Oprah's Book Club of pro wrestling a little bit, where the three of us have taken a past pay-per-view or past premium live event, as they're known now, and taken a look at it and kind of given our opinions on it. And so today we got a really special one. It was Mr. TL's pick. I'm the hardcore wrestling fan myself, and so jumping on the stream right now should be Mr. TL. However, we have a special guest.
Boyaka. I've had surgery 5 times in my left knee.
Oh, you did? Absolutely. It's Rey Mysterio. Unreal. Thanks for joining us, Ray. And,
of course, I told you I'd be back for this one.
I should say thanks also for signing my copy of ECW Bloodsport back in the day at the car show. That's amazing.
Of course, it's my honor. Always good to meet a fan.
Yes, there we go. So jump him on with that. And we got well, hey, Rey Mysterio joined us. That's awesome. We've got also CraigPFraser joins us as well. Oh, wait a second. Yeah. It's in the danger zone. Cool. Oh. Nice. Nope. Full recline. And he's taking off into the danger zone. Which is kind of apropos because we're talking about Paul E.
I don't have headphones on yet. Hold on.
Okay. I feel out of place. I am not wearing a mask now, so
Hang on a second.
There we go.
You see, it's not always easy wearing a mask.
Emerging from his helmet, like every sprint car driver wreck in the 1980s, it's CraigPFraser.
Wow.
Exactly.
I got to admit, that was one hell of an entrance.
Rey Mysterio, when did you get here?
He showed up. We booked
I
him.
was invited to come back on the last show, and I said I wasn't going to miss it.
Yeah.
I thought I'm pretty stunned that Rey Mysterio is here. I'm pretty shocked. I don't know how I'm going to top that one. I thought I was going to be the most colorful with my Top Gun entrance, but somebody had to outdo me.
I don't know, man. I think you stole the lightning on that one, the thunder.
The thunder.
I'm a little put off.
just a little bit.
Well,
Well, if TL were here, it was his pick for the pay-per-view, so we'll get to that right away. We have some unfinished business from the last show that we did, our last live at 2024. Going back to even the Christmas, what was it, a Christmas extravaganza live stream. It was brought up on the subject of AI creation, and well, the subject of the RuPaul rookie card came up, and man, just, you guys, credit here to one of our followers, Jay Horbe, who is a little bit more handier with the AI than I am, and so he's created for us. This is the RuPaul rookie card. Whoa, it's my turn to watch. There we go.
I think that's outstanding.
It's great, isn't it?
Why? Is my only question.
It's a thing now. Yes. Why not? That's my answer.
I
That's
guess
how
I guess it kind of looks like RuPaul.
It does.
I,
Yeah.
I suppose for the Rubalakas, is that the name of the team?
Rubaki.
Rubaki.
The Rubaki. Yeah.
All right. Well,
Okay,
take
so
over
That
that.
sounds like something else, but that's for a different show.
It sounds like Subalaki. I gotta adjust this again. This big fell. It was my turn to have a botch this time. All right. Yay! All of our equipment is working now. So. Right on. If anybody's wondering, we are taking a look, going back to 2005 tonight and taking a look at ECW One Night Stand 2005. And that is, June 12th, 2005 on pay-per-view. So there we go.
Hard to believe it's been 20 years already.
I know. Yeah, I was watching this show and I was like, it was insane. It was 20 years ago that this was all a thing and happening. So we got a chance to sit down and watch it. Craig, was this the first time you had a chance to ever watch this show?
This is the first time I've seen this pay-per-view.
Okay, so this is the very first time for you. Ray, you were on it. So yeah.
That's right. I was on the show.
You were on the show. So it's taking a look into that. And that's as always, I have a little bit of back history here. We'll get into that just quickly. ECW closes its doors in January of 2001. The final two shows for the original ECW were the wrestling hotbeds and the ECW hotbeds of Poplar Bluff, Missouri and Pine Bluff, Arkansas, if you can believe that.
They were ever in the South? I thought they were mostly in Northeast.
This was because of the end of the TNN deal, and these were house shows that were sold during the TNN deal, like months before. See, back in the day, they would sell house shows like 6 or 8 months in advance, for tickets and stuff. So that's what it is. This is at Disillusion. This is what the roster of ECW looked like, and I had a chance to watch both shows here just thanks to this. This is a bootleg version of the final two ECW shows I have kicking around in my collection here. And inside, just take a look. I wrote down what the roster was at the time. In there, it is it ain't pretty. I can tell you this right now. You have guys who never really made it anywhere outside of ECW, like Tom Marquez, Oz, John Phoenix. No. Ray's wrestling in Mexico at this point. He's not even in WCW. I don't think. Oh man, January 2001. He's probably just wrapping up WCW. Honestly, to tell you the truth, I think that's what he's doing.
So that was, where were you, Ray? What were you doing?
What were you doing?
I was sitting at home being paid to do nothing, really.
Yeah.
They didn't have any plans for me by the time that WCW closed its doors.
Is that because you're a very small person?
No, they had taken the mask away from me. I didn't really have a character. The whole No Limit Soldier thing had dried up, and me and Conan, Psychosis didn't have much going on.
Now, Ray,
Craig,
you're going with the black and gold mask tonight.
That's right.
Does that have something to do with the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Not at all. Not at all. This is just what I had on today.
Because it'd be.
I was actually more repping the black and gold for the belt of which I'm holding, which is the ECW World Heavyweight Championship. I never did get to hold it for the company, but it's a nice belt.
That's good, because it would be really embarrassing if you were repping the Pittsburgh Steelers. With you being from San Diego, you probably are no fan of the Pittsburgh Steelers, Ray. You probably would love to just run down the Pittsburgh Steelers.
It's tough. It's tough. I've got a lot of fans in Pittsburgh. Me and Kurt Angle are still good friends. There's a female wrestler over in AEW named Britt Baker, also from Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
She's pretty good friends as well. And also remember, the Chargers weren't always from San Diego.
No, I was insinuating that you were a Chargers fan, but I was insinuating that definitely not a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. They're out of the playoffs, by the way.
So are your Broncos.
Well, that was expected.
Well, at least you guys made it to the dance.
How do you know I'm a Broncos fan, Ray? We've never met before.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I've had to watch a lot.
Ray, you're not
of
Santa
Claus.
You're not Santa Claus. You don't know. Somebody tipped you off. I want to know who tipped you off.
So this thing that we're doing right now is called a podcast. Everything we've ever done is on the internet.
Why would you spend so much time researching me? I mean, I'm flabbergasted, Ray.
Well, being a guest on your show, being a proper guest, I had to be informed about what you guys do around here, you know?
Okay.
I'm actually really, really excited to hear more stories about you in Scotland. It's some of the best stuff on the whole channel.
Well, thank you, Ray. I appreciate you being a viewer, I guess. Yeah, the roster's not looking good for ECW at Dissolution. There's the only real notables that got left on the roster is Rhino is their unified heavyweight champion because he's holding the television belt and the world heavyweight title. Sandman's still there. Tommy Dreamer's still there. And Just Incredible and Francine, and that's basically your top four in your main event scene. Everybody else has kind of just been the guys who have been doing support on the old ECW and TNN shows when that deal ended. So it's not a great roster list at Dissolution.
I thought Rob Van Dam was still there.
He was not. His last appearance with the company was him and Jerry Lynn's last appearance with the company was their pay-per-view, their last pay-per-view they had on January 7th, 2001. Their contracts officially ended, I think, like on the 8th or the 9th, right after with Paul Heyman's company, and they were free to do whatever.
But they didn't enter the WWE until much later.
Much later, yes. Yeah.
All right.
So there we go. That's what I could find. WWE buys the ECW library and assets in March of 2001, about a week or two prior to the WCW sale. That sale gets finalized after all of the debts are paid off and everything in, I think, the summer of 2003. So that's how long it took, and that's how much everything else took to I guess, all the debts be paid off and everything. So that's how wild it was. So, and we'll get to, okay, here we go. Here's the catalyst to the One Night Stand pay-per-view. Was in the fall of 2004, the rise and fall of ECW DVD is released by WWE Home Video. It quickly becomes the biggest selling WWE DVD of the year. WrestleMania 20 was the second and way behind in numbers. This one here, your copy at home may or may not be autographed by Al Snow. Mine is, whatever. This one here is...
What does everybody want?
Yeah, head.
My autograph.
Yeah. Exactly.
That was pretty good.
This is the only WWE DVD that has ever been released by a WWE Home Video that's ever come close to selling 1 million copies. Lifetime.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. The only two that are behind it, I think, are WrestleMania 20 from that year and the Cheating Death Stealing Life Eddie Guerrero set.
Yeah, that's a tough one to get through.
I bet it is. So, and we got people tuning in from all over the place too. We got Chris tuning in. Says good evening from Charleston, South Carolina. Good evening to you too, Chris. Thanks for tuning in and checking us out on the channel. We're going to get into more of the history and the actual ECW One Night Stand pay-per-view here in a quick second. I'm just going to wrap up my little preamble presentation. In January of 2005, WWE releases its pay-per-view schedule with a TBA for June 12th. Speculation begins as a tie-in with the ECW brand to capitalize on the rise and fall of ECW DVD set popularity and everything. And then in mid-May, it's announced that ECW One Night Stand will take place at the Hammerstein Ballroom in New York City. A few days later, it's announced that an unaffiliated ECW reunion show will take place a few days earlier at the 2300 Arena in South Philly, which is the old ECW arena. And that show is Hardcore Homecoming. So there's a rival show happening 2 or 3 days prior to this one.
Not the greatest.
No, it's already becoming kind of a little bit of a cluster. So this leads to some notable absences from the WWE One Night Stand show. Mostly because a lot of the former ECW talent at this time, they're contracted with Total Nonstop Action Wrestling. This is back when NWA TNA was a hot thing, when they were just on, getting the big numbers on Fox Sports Net, and they're about ready to go jump onto Spike TV themselves. This is the early summer of 2005. So some notable absences from the WWE One Night Stand show. Like I said, the ECW talents were having big runs at TNA at the time. The franchise Shane Douglas is not part of ECW One Night Stand. was offered a one-night deal to come in, turned it down. He is running and booking the Hardcore Homecoming shows at this point. So he's running that show that's running Opposition a couple days prior in Philly. Terry Funk said no, he didn't want to jump in and basically be a part of, at this time, a WWE-led ECW reunion show because he didn't want Vince McMahon to have any involvement in the ECW brand and that stuff. He rethinks it and is involved in the 2006 One Night Stand, as we all know. So he I don't know if he comes around on his senses or what you'd say, but he has a change of heart at least for 2006. But for 2005, he's part of Hardcore
Mr. Nitro, I know you know some wrestling terms.
Yeah.
We need you to bring it home.
Okay. Raven also isn't involved because he's in the main event scene in TNA at the time, but he's involved on that Hardcore Homecoming show. And New Jack, because New Jack physically would get arrested if he set foot in the Manhattan Center because he had some outstanding warrants that he had to get dealt with. So,
what a crazy guy.
Yeah.
Good old New Jack.
And of course, it being a WWE presented pay-per-view, there is storyline with Raw and SmackDown invaders coming in to try to disrupt the pay-per-view. They're being led by Eric Bischoff, I should say, Edge, JBL's Cabinet, amongst others, Kurt Angle, La Resistance, etc. So WWE, of course, has to interject some sort of storyline in there. Otherwise, it's not WWE. There's no benefit to them, right? So we'll get to the show, finally. The show starts hot with the fans chanting ECW, and the first person we see walk out with the ECW music here is our play-by-play announcer for the night, Joey Styles. He'll be joined by Mick Foley on commentary, and this is the part of the show where we typically sit down and we break down the commentary job that the play-by-play and color analysts, color analysts, I should say, has given throughout the night. And so, Craig, we'll start with you. What did you think of Joey Styles and Mick Foley on commentary throughout this thing?
I actually really liked them. I thought they were a good pairing. Mick Foley obviously having his history being Cactus Jack in ECW, which in many ways was his catapult into WWF as Mankind. And even obviously later, not to give away the big pop at the end, Stone Cold Steve Austin also getting his, after, kind of the stunning Steve Austin thing fizzled out and WCW let him go after Eric Bischoff thought that there was no way he was ever going to be a wrestling draw. Imagine that.
Yes.
He also kind of really started kind of getting that hard edge personality in ECW that eventually brought him in to be the ringmaster. And then obviously the infamous story of him, kind of realizing he's kind of on an injury. Like, I don't really want to do this. I want to come back to something else. Trying to figure out his name, and his wife was British at the time. It was like, drink your tea, Steve, before you get stone cold.
Stone cold, yes.
What? And she's like, stone cold. He's like, stone cold. and then the rest is history. So
yeah.
And then somebody broke a window in the background. He's like, God damn, that's it. Somebody tell Jim Johnson I got an idea.
Breaking a glass. Yes, exactly.
It was but yeah, like the Mankind, Mick Foley, Cactus Jack, getting that on the color commentary.
Yeah,
that was great because he kind of usually sometimes I guess it can seem like the main play-by-play is maybe the face commentator and the color guy can sometimes be the heel commentator.
Yeah, that's
not always a thing, but in this way, Joey Mercury definitely the hardcore ECW guy, but sometimes maybe a bit
Joey Styles.
Yeah, he kind of blurred. I said AJ Styles.
Was it Joey Mercury? That was the
Joey Mercury.
Eminem.
Joey Mercury, ironically, was on the final ECW roster when it closed up shop.
Joey Styles.
Joey Styles is the commentator. Yes.
AJ Mercury.
Now we're creating cause, is what we're doing. We're doing creative wrestlers for WWE 2K.
But Joey Styles, he kind of blurred those lines sometimes. He was sometimes doing maybe some heel barbs or whatever, but mostly he was calling it down the middle, and Mick was kind of just ambiguous and defending the ECW name, but also still like I don't know. I just thought it was a good combination. It was almost a little bit like their alignment was a little ambiguous. They were going between heel and face both, throughout it. So I enjoyed their duo.
Yes. And one more thing that I forgot from the preamble here is that on top of everything else, Ring of Honor decides to run opposition to both shows same weekend in New York City with the Future Is Now card with their own wrestlers and that stuff. And they invite the franchise Shane Douglas in to promote the Hardcore Homecoming thing, which didn't sit well with a lot of fans who wanted to do the double, the Ring of Honor show in the afternoon and then the WWE show in the evening. And so Shane Douglas just gets booed right out of the building. it's Ring of Honor holds their event like literally like 2 blocks down from the Manhattan Center, and it's amazing the amount of just negative heat he gets. Like what's the opposite of it? It's like, like a vortex of suck on that show.
It's like
unreal.
Hulk Hogan
getting
booed on Monday Night Raw.
On Netflix, exactly. Same type of deal. Great one there.
They pay me the big bucks.
It goes Ray, what do you think of Joey Styles and Mick Foley on commentary?
It's funny, I never got to watch this one back because I was in it. But hearing the commentary,
you never sat down with Dom and watched the show. Is that what you're saying?
Dom was there that night. I mean, he was maybe 7 or 8 years old, but he was there that night. Anyways, to fill in what Craig had talked about, going heel and face is Joey Styles.
Yeah.
It's not exactly what he was doing.
No.
He was shooting for real.
Yes.
On a lot of old competitors for ECW, like Mike Awesome especially.
Oh, we'll get to that. We got notes on that for sure.
But basically, he's defending ECW the whole night.
Yeah.
And really burying, actually, a lot of the talent, well, some of the talent that had crossed him on the way out. And Mick Foley, who couldn't compete anymore, he wasn't physically ready to do that, to make his comeback like he did in TNA a few years after.
Mm-hmm.
He was there in kind of a goodwill thing, just to get his face out there again.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Mick comes back into the company that fall, I think, and then they use him in that feud with Edge the year later in about 06 or so, and starts to, not on a full-time basis, but he's back in the ring like for a few matches for sure.
That's right, the flaming table spot.
Yep, at that Mania that year, and then later on he's a part of the second ECW One Night Stand with the tag match, him and Edge versus Terry Funk and Tommy Dreamer. So
that's right, but what you were saying, you know what? It was the only time these two ever teamed up for a broadcast, especially for WWE. Mm-hmm. Joey Styles is an amazing commentator.
Yes.
It's lively. He calls the action. You know the story. And you even get a little bit behind the story with the way he feels. The way he calls out certain wrestlers, the way he calls out the crowd for what they're chanting. He doesn't just hide it.
Mm. Definitely. Well, at this time of the stream, this is when we start breaking down matches and that stuff. So I will like to call forth and summon Undertaker for the first time in, where did it go? Oh, there it is, right there. it's summoned for the first time in 2025. Below everybody is the Nitromaniac TV Undertaker that has all of the results and times with matches and that stuff from the show. So there we go. I forget how that goes. I have to rewrite that. We'll go ahead with the opener. It is just an opening contest, and these are all non-title matches. Obviously, it's a reunion show; nothing's on the line title-wise, but it's a great match or a great night for some nostalgia pops. We have Lance Storm with Dawn Marie taking on Lionheart, Chris Jericho. There's a real pixely version of Chris Jericho. I'll see if I can dig up a better graphic. I believe I do have one here, but so that is your opening contest. There's one towards the end of this match. We'll get to that as we go, of Chris Jericho with the first time that he's rocking the Lionheart gimmick since his Mexico run. And hey, TL joins us. Look at that.
Hey!
Where did Mexican Spider-Man go?
It got too hot.
Yeah, I bet.
You were committed to that bit.
Yeah, no kidding.
I think.
And the way we podcast, you could be 2 or 3 hours in, he'd be just sopping wet on his side.
That was killing me. I was like, oh, I'm not going to make it. My goal was to do the whole thing. No, can't do it.
You made it 20 minutes, so that's about the length of the Rey Mysterio.
Bro, if you were going to drag out the intro any longer, holy shit.
Hey, this the amount.
Oh my God.
We'll time it out to about 21 minutes.
You melted the
like
luchador.
The match Mysterio has on this card only goes 6 minutes and 23 seconds. So, hey, you outlasted him.
Longer. Also, this is a lucha logger.
Yeah, lucha logger.
0%.
I like it.
Stem cells.
It's one of the best. I was going to say, he might have dropped one of the best gifts ever was when we were talking about the commentators and that stuff. You're just sipping it as Rey Mysterio.
Sipping his lucha lager.
Right. But anyway, this opening contest, Lance Stormer with Don Marie. He defeats Chris Jericho in a singles match. It's 7 minutes and 15 seconds. The finish for this one was Jericho nails the walls of Jericho. Don Marie interferes. Jason and Justin Credible of the Impact Players interfere in this match, and Justin Credible nails Jericho with a candlestick for a 1-2-3 with Lance Storm. That is Lance Storm's final contracted match in WWE until this day. It's not his final match ever. I think he's had a couple 2 or 3 independent appearances, and he has appeared in Ring of Honor a couple times since then. But yeah, solid opener to kick things off. Guys, what did you think of the opening contest? Lance Storm, Chris Jericho, the battle of the Thrill Seekers.
Craigie goes first.
It's a stalemate.
First match?
Yes. Match 1.
Lance Storm and Chris Jericho was, I mean, this is I think just a clutch 2 great Canadians in the ring there. Gotta say, it was a great match, great opener match. I mean, 2, in my mind, Hall of Famers, both. Lance Storm, very underrated worker. Chris Jericho is obviously Chris Jericho. Great match. I thought it was good, entertaining, some great moves. Like some of the outside interference from Justin Credible, the reunion of like the primetime players. The Impact Players. Yep. Solid opener.
Yep, definitely. TL.
One of my most favorite matches of all time.
Really? Wow.
Absolutely.
Wow. Okay.
Because as an opener, it does exactly what you want. It gets the crowd right into it, lets you know this is wrestling. The pace is beautiful. The way that they paced out this match. There is no dead spots. There is no slow spots. Everything is just professional wrestling at its finest.
Yes.
In terms of being technical. These guys got the crowd into the match instead of trying to get their own shit in with their own chants.
Yep.
And what more can you... I mean, also, on commentary, Joey Styles does such a great job of giving the backstory of who these 2 are, where they are in their career, where they came from, what they've done together, where they started in Ponoka, Alberta. Wrestling a match in 1995. Like, you get all of that in this. It's crazy that this match is as short as it is. It felt like a 20-minute match, and it wasn't.
There is not one match that goes over 15 minutes on this card. I think the longest one is Benoit and Guerrero. That's 10:38. So we'll get to that obviously later on down on the thing. But all these matches are between 7 to 10 minutes. Including the awesome Tanaka Smash Fest that we'll get to as well a little bit later on. That's only like 9:52. So it's a lot of action packed. Like that first hour, I forgot how good. I can say it right now. Anyway, I forgot how good the first hour of the show is. This first hour of the show is phenomenal when it comes to match quality. Like, you can take this first hour alone, throw it on TV, and you'd probably carry it a week. You'd win ratings.
Well, funny you mentioned that is the amount of people that I've shown this pay-per-view to and said, I was like, why do you like wrestling? I'm like, here, watch this. Given them the DVD in case and said, go watch this.
Yeah.
And they loved it after watching it.
Yeah.
And this match is like an amazing kickoff. Like, oh, okay, this is wrestling. Cool.
And you've got to think, too. You got to go thinking back in time. It's 2005. The only thing a lot of people are seeing on their television sets is WWE product. So we're getting, overexposed to the Raw and SmackDown. That's all you're seeing, especially up here in Canada. In the States, maybe you're getting a little bit of NWA TNA, but other than that,
you are absolutely not getting that.
Yeah, we're not getting it at this time until they move to Spike. So that's like
everything else
October.
is indie wrestling.
Yeah,
there is only one show in town, and then it's WWE.
It's WWE. Yeah. So this coming out of nowhere is a breath of fresh air, even if it's with WWE talent. But there's enough, I guess, ECW talent, former ECW talent walking in that it feels like it's a brand new brand, which it is, essentially. It's kind of, they're testing the waters with this ECW thing to see if there could be potentially more stuff down the road or whatever, right?
But also it's a shout out to ECW that they could provide that much talent that would become world-class WWE talent.
It also is the goodbye show that they never got a chance to have. Like I said off the beginning, those two house shows in Arkansas and Missouri, not necessarily widely known as the last two ECW shows, and the roster, like I said, on those shows, kind of terrible. So, the fact that you could get everybody that you can together for this, it's kind of a cool deal. Post-match, too, Chris Jericho kind of standing and acknowledging the crowd. This was the week that he had announced that his WWE contract was coming to an end and that he would not be re-signing with WWE. And in fact, he doesn't. He leaves the WWE after SummerSlam in that after that feud with John Cena for the WWE title, and he goes and does stuff with Fozzy for a couple of years.
That's right. He comes back with the Save Us Y2J thing.
That's like 2008, 2009, I think.
7 or 8 or 9, somewhere.
Yeah. I think it's 2008. Yeah. So, yeah, he's.
I was going to ask, Mr. Craig, is this the first time you heard a crowd chant, "She's a crack whore"?
No, I've definitely seen clips. That was obviously directed toward Dawn Marie, but
yes.
She, to Dawn Marie's credit, I mean, really,
she's about 4 months pregnant here, by the way, too. That's why.
Really?
She was married. I remember looking at her profile after, because I wanted to I always check the wikis of all the wrestlers and stuff to like kind of read more about them. And I guess she'd just gotten married at this point. So yeah, she was pregnant, and then but like she was always, like, as a manager and a valet, like, was always very good with, like, she had, like, in terms of, like, timing for spots and stuff, was one of the best, like, maybe up there with, like, Sherry in terms of how a manager can interact throughout the match, because it is a very, like, you kind of have to know your cues, and you have to know the pace of the match. You're communicating with the wrestlers, and your time in the spot. So the fact that she's out there, and I think in many ways it's sort of a throwback. They're kind of, teasing her, messing with her, but I think she knows that it's all very much done from a place of, they're just enjoying to, yell that at her one more time. Yeah. So, but I really enjoyed the match, the banter, the fans, the interaction. It was just a great kickoff to the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Okay, hot take. I'm just saying this right now. When it comes to Dawn Marie, and remember Melina from Eminem?
Yes.
Both of them, I never thought they were anywhere near as good looking as what they were trying to tell us they were on TV. Both of them.
So not as hot as you thought that they were trying to tell.
Not as hot as they were telling us they were.
Oh, okay.
They're trying to tell us, oh, they're so hot. Oh my God. I'm like, nah.
Well, that's kind of just kind of looking at the, that's how they marketed the divas back then, and it wasn't women back then; it was divas. The divas division back then too is they kind of did that to say that our women.
Even in ECW, Dawn Marie always looked like Dawn Marie, and I never thought that she looked anything great.
It's amazing how much of a veteran career she had. She had, at the time of this pay-per-view, she had about 10 or 12 years in as a valet in the independents and that stuff, because she was like big on the East Coast independents before ECW and everything before she came in. So
did they bring her into SmackDown after this event or before?
No, it was before. Her SmackDown run, because her SmackDown run was like 2003. So
oh yeah, and she had to do things with Tori Wilson that were
with Tori Wilson's dad. Yes.
Oh God.
The old free Royal Rumble.
Oh, Paulie.
Thanks, Vince.
So Vince saw Kill Bill, and that's what's the idea of that storyline.
I got an idea.
Yes.
Get me Dawn Marie in here now.
Yeah. So anyway, back to the pay-per-view. We see the Pitbull Gary Wolf. He's backstage. He's cutting a promo, and it's the ECW In Memoriam segment. Tributes to Rocco Rock, Terry Bam Bam Gordy, Mike Lockwood, who was Crash Holly in WWE, the original Sheik, who is Sabu's uncle, not dad, uncle. Yes. Mike Lazansky, who's a Canadian talent. He was from BC, a good friend of Chris Jericho's. Pitbull number 2, Anthony Durante, Big Dick Dudley, and Chris Candido all get mentioned. By the way, Chris Candido would have worked this ECW One Night Stand pay-per-view had he lived. He would have been in the opening contest with Chris Jericho. There was question on Eddie Guerrero's involvement going into this pay-per-view because WWE wanted to give Eddie some time off. And, of course, the Chris Candido thing happened. And we just got production botches happening. It's like an ECW show. Stuff's just falling apart. We do ECW stuff, starts breaking.
Oh, lights are up. No,
Oh my God!
that is how Joey opened the whole thing, didn't he?
Yes, he did. He did.
Oh my God!
Open it up with a giant, oh my God. So our next contest was the International Freeway Dance. Tajiri with the Sinister Minister and Mikey Ripwreck took on Little Guido with Big Guido, JT Smith, Tony Mamaluke, and Tracy Smothers. There is a group to draw.
Known as the Fully Blooded Italians FBI.
The FBI, yes. Versus Super Crazy. And that contest went 6 minutes and 14 seconds. I thought it went longer, but looking at the time, it's 6:14. Man, they waste no time and they just keep rolling with this thing. This was just it's insane luchadors. That's what it is. This
is a condensed version of the one that we watched previously on the real ECW pay-per-view.
Yeah, because remember when we did Anarchy Rules, I mentioned that these three would have worked variations of each other or freeway dances and that stuff from 1999 through the end of the company closing. So that's what they did is,
and this is that match perfected.
Basically, yeah, this was the best of their matches that they've ever done. Ever.
That moonsault from the top of the
balcony.
Hell was he? Balcony. Yeah.
He's, if you ever watch a show from the Hammerstein Ballroom, and AEW ran some shows there last December and that stuff, and there's promotions that still run there from time to time. I think the rumor is NXT's moving into doing a couple of shows at Hammerstein, maybe in the summer or the fall of this year as well for WWE. There's balconies all over the building. So the fact that they just, snap off a high spot here and there from the balcony, if you're going to do it, the Hammerstein's probably going to be the building you're going to do it because you got balconies at different levels that you can jump off of.
And Super Crazy went for it, man.
Oh, he did. Did he ever? I really like this match. This was great. By the way, the innuendo joke Joey makes, it's on it's on this show, and he made the same joke at Hardcore Homecoming as well.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes. So he's recycling material at this point, but nobody would know because the Hardcore Homecoming show was a straight to DVD release, and it got released after this show made pay-per-view. So
wait a second, Joey Styles is on the Hardcore Homecoming?
Yes.
He does both.
He does both shows, yes.
Yeah, this one is better.
It is better, yes. Of course.
You say you thought an innuendo was an Italian suppository?
Yes.
There we go.
That's the joke.
I thought this was a good match. I mean, some great kind of lucha moments from Super Crazy. Tajiri, really showing his working ability as well. And even Little Guido or Nunzio, he's out early, but I mean, some of those spots, like he does the whole spot where he takes the whole bump and knocks out the entire FBI. The big flip, the big spot from Super Crazy, it was good. It was, I was watching, I was entertained. I'm like, man, it's Super Crazy. I don't know. After this, he didn't really have much of a WWE run after.
He was one of the Mexicools. Yeah, there wasn't much there with him.
Yeah,
same with Psychosis after this. He gets both of them get signed by WWE after this because of their work here, and then they're not really used very much.
I was gonna say that they came out on lawnmowers, right?
Yes,
they did.
Wow. Thanks, Vince. Please, how can we make this more stereotypical? Jeez.
Yeah, I know, right?
No, this was a good match though. Much more deserving than the Mexicools.
You know, I gotta not give it to Vince, but like it's so insane how he could be like, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna play the stereotypes as if we're making fun of the stereotypes. But I still want you to be the stereotype.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, we're gonna laugh at Latinos who are on lawnmowers and being all.
But that's with every foreign heel. Yeah, in
yeah, it's like, well, we're gonna laugh at the stereotype. Meanwhile, you're doing the stereotype.
That dates back to Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov.
Yes.
A singing Russian and a yelling Iranian. I mean, like, hello. You know, that's...
Probably even before that. Who knows? But
well, I
God,
mean, if I can only speak to my own heritage, I mean, like with Roddy Piper, obviously was his whole thing was he wore a kilt, but like, and he had the pipes, but like his gimmick was so much more than just being Scottish. Right?
He'd have Fraser with the bushwhackers, and you guys would be eating haggis or something like that, or whatever. And then
the one that I just shook my head at, and I never really bought into it, was when they had the Highlanders tag team. And these guys in kilts, and they didn't even know how to use a urinal. I'm like, come on, like this is ridiculous. Like,
you know how those guys got Future Endeavor, eh? They showed up on a TNA television taping, not advertised. In fact, they showed up as spectators to a TNA television taping because one of the Highlanders kids wanted to go see AJ Styles in person wrestle. So they just bought tickets and showed up at Universal one day during a television taping. And so they're scanning the crowd for, crowd shots and like, hey, look, the Highlanders are here. Check it out. Hey, look, it's WWE Tag Team the Highlanders checking out TNA. And then that was on their weekly TV, and and that was it.
You know, it also helped their downfall. They were the drizzling shits.
they weren't very good either. No. Yep.
It was not good.
Let's go back to our pay-per-view.
Yeah. We see some early ECW veterans.
Wait. You know what I always thought was hilarious? The Sinister Minister does the worst low blow I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Where somebody was setting up for a power bomb, he runs in the ring, he does a little dink, and then down goes the guy, and then Mikey Whipwreck hits the whippersnapper, which is a Stone Cold Stunner from the top rope.
Yeah,
exactly. But it's the worst low blow I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. My friend pointed that out. He was watching like, who the hell was that guy?
Well, he ends up being it's James Mitchell who has a better.
Nobody cares. Move on.
Anyway, I'm the master of the lore. I have to give the lore of the characters. That's what
you were the master of dragging this out.
I don't know. You were dressed up as Rey Mysterio for 20 minutes.
I could still be Rey Mysterio if I want to.
Well,
don't make me bring him back in here.
But he's coming up next.
He is coming up next.
Lucha Libre match. We got Psicosis versus Rey Mysterio. The runtime for this thing was where was it? It's 6 minutes and 23 seconds, and it's pretty good. The only thing is he'd kind of maybe want to work maybe a different style in between the two matches. Maybe this is where I would have put Jericho and Storm, maybe open with Super Crazy and those guys. But other than that, that's just real small nitpicky type stuff. So, but this was good. I enjoyed this one. This is the better of the two appearances on the ECW One Night Stands. I find that Ray has.
Oh, bullshit.
Really?
Oh, bullshit.
I think him
and Sabu was insane.
It's a good match.
I thought Rey Mysterio died.
There's a couple of spots there but for sheer wrestling, this one's great. Like I love this one. This one's really good.
One's good, but you can tell based on how these two worked in ECW when they first got there compared to this one.
Yeah.
They're like older and showing it.
Yeah.
Their age really shows in this one.
Yeah.
More so Psychosis than Rey Mysterio, because Rey Mysterio can still go, and he's still going to this day.
Mm-hmm.
But Psychosis, like, he looked older and slower.
Mm-hmm. The story was Psychosis, by the way, losing the mask at the beginning of the that stuff. Just he lost a hair versus mask match in Mexico, like literally like 2 weeks before this, and so he was just trying to get that lore over. That's about it. So,
and they chanted at him, "Put your mask on."
Yeah, they did.
Your mask on. So they did not like that he was unmasked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this match was okay. Like, it was definitely good, but I think you're kind of right. Maybe they're like Psychosis a little sluggish. I didn't understand. Maybe that's part of it. Maybe is I didn't understand why he took the mask off, because he came out and I was like, oh, cool, Psychosis got the mask on, because I know Psychosis from his work in like WCW.
Mm-hmm.
And so he just ripped the mask off. I was like, what? You know, and I was kind of like, I didn't quite get that, but I guess it makes sense that in that perspective now. But yeah, it was a good match. Like, I wasn't wowed by it, and compared to the Jericho Storm opener, and it was a bit of a down from the triple threat, or the I guess the 3-way dance, they call it something else. But yeah, no, I thought this was good. It was a good match.
Yes,
Rey Mysterio can't argue with Rey Mysterio.
The crowd boos the 619, but they cheer for the West Coast Pop as Rey nets the 1-2-3, and Rey Mysterio Lifetime moves to 3-1 in ECW over Psychosis.
Yay!
The fourth match. So there we go. Post-match, the SmackDown anti-ECW Crusaders show up. Kurt Angle, JBL, The Cabinet, Carlito, Matt Morgan, etc. Just the mix of what was on SmackDown back at that time in 2005. Holy crap for me. It's that a time warp. Here is a ill-timed still frame of JBL looking at a freaking support beam, I guess. I don't know. That's what happened when you rush on all this.
I honestly thought, like, I knew what they were doing. I obviously knew what they were doing, bringing Eric Bischoff out. He was GM of Raw at the time.
Right.
And I mean, obviously with his relationship with Paul Heyman, WCW, and all that, like, I got what they were doing and having the WWE talent in there. But I honestly thought that this is the one thing that I thought kind of took away from the pay-per-view. I thought that as much as there's some great interaction bits and stuff like that, like, honestly, it should have been more of a, like, if you're going to be there, you guys sit down and shut up. And then, like, Paul Heyman eventually comes out, does this promo or whatever. Yeah. But, like, they're just acting like clowns the entire time. And I guess that's the point, is they're supposed to be like that. JBL is supposed to be acting like an asshole.
If you have a copy of this, there is an entirely separate English track of JBL live riffing throughout the entire show.
And, like, to me, it's like
not worth it.
It sucks.
No,
it breaks the entire show down. Yes,
I'm like, if you are truly giving these guys a one-night stand, then it's like, keep those guys in the back. You can still do this kind of a promo thing and, like, have Bischoff out there in the crowd. Absolutely, keep it as an angle. But I don't know, these guys were just hamming it up, and, like, I don't know, it was just very, like, slapsticky and, like, ham-handed, and I was like, oh,
that's stupid. Yeah,
it's just kind of dumb for me.
It has nothing to do with it, but it was, again, as I talked about in the intro. They're going to do that because it's a WWE presented pay-per-view with the ECW roster on it. Yeah. So it's, it's.
Well, they did it all for the payoff at the end, which we'll get to.
Yes.
And it is a nice payoff, but
it is.
They didn't need it. They just didn't need it. Plain and simple.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the matches could have been longer if they didn't have all this shit in there.
That's true too. Yeah. That end thing runs about 15 or 20 minutes. So yeah, if you do that, that's kind of,
which is longer than a lot of the matches on here.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, definitely. We get another package showing off some mid-90s stuff. Joel Gertner is sent up to interview the SmackDown Crusaders. He gets punked out by Kurt Angle. I forgot how good heel Angle is during this era. Not as good as JBL, but he's up there for the for the kind of the bully Angle type stuff. JBL, his promo. What do you think? This was a red hot promo he had on the crowd. It's one of the better parts of the show. So
I skipped it.
You skipped it.
I mean, as it's just taking it away from the context of the show. Like, it was a good heel promo.
Yeah,
obviously you got a lot of reaction, but I mean, JBL just could have grabbed a microphone and pretended to talk into it and, like, keep psyching out the crowd, and they still would have booed the shit out of him. He could have really said anything, and he was going to get that kind of heat.
It leads into RVD's music hitting, and an injured Rob Van Dam walks out with Bill Alfonso.
Wait a second. Didn't Kurt Angle get the mic at one point?
He did, yes, before this.
He has one of the worst lines I have ever heard anybody say on a microphone.
Which one?
The crowd is chanting, "You suck dick, you suck dick." And he, with a straight face, yells right back at them, "Your mother taught me how!"
Yes. This popped me. I just loved it. I was like,
what?
That's what I wrote down. Oh, I forgot how good heel Angle is in this era.
What an awful comeback.
It was a very good comeback.
It's not a very good comeback, and that's why I loved it. I found it's great.
It was one of the cringiest, worst things you could have ever said, and I guess that's
shit.
Like you could have said like your mom sucked mine or something like that. I don't know.
Exactly.
He could have said almost anything.
Yeah.
And it would have been better than what he said.
Yeah. It's always this, where's that referee? He was gonna fuck on me.
Yes.
Ted DiBiase Jr., yes.
Nope, that's not it. That's not it.
Their mothers taught Kurt Angle how to suck dick, and he continued to suck dick because he didn't deny the sucking of dick. He just told everyone where he learned it from. In the worst comeback I have ever heard.
With his shirt off, I was like, Kurt, I get it. I was like, Kurt, you're in Perk Angle phase. I get it.
Yes.
We're well into the days of drug.
He's topless and hairless and no body hair.
Just nipples right up. It's just he's sitting there with fully erect nipples and no shirt, being like, "Your mother taught me how to suck dick." Like, okay, Kurt.
But anyway, we get I have written down it's actually a really great RVD promo, just basically explaining the whole thing on how this show kind of came to be. It's that he was talking to Vince one day backstage and was like, "Hey, the DVD's selling great. Why don't we do an ECW pay-per-view?" And Vince is like, "Well, I didn't think of that, pal." And then there we go. And then so I have written down phenomenally hot segment, which leads into Rhino goring RVD out of nowhere, and he starts working on the injured knee. And then the lights go out. It's Sabu, and that goes right into our next contest, which is Rhino versus Sabu. The runtime for this thing was 6 minutes and 31 seconds, with Sabu getting the win with the atomic Arabian facebuster from the top rope with a chair. Actually, it was the Arabian skull crusher, I should say, through the table with a chair by Sabu on Rhino, netting the 1-2-3. I have written down what an impromptu match. Loved it. It was good. It was high impact. It's everything ECW was and is. So the car wreck. It's a great pop.
Before I give my thought on the match, what's the deal with Bill Alfonso?
He's the manager-esque of.
He's a coach.
Yeah, exactly.
You get it? He's got a whistle.
I was like, if I was there,
he was doing a crooked referee thing in ECW, and then they banned him from being a referee, so he ended up teaming with RVD and Sabu, who were heels at the time, and they became RVD and Sabu with Bill Alfonso.
Okay, yeah, I was wondering because I was like, I wanted to punch him.
The most notable thing, the most notable thing they did was in '97, leading up to Barely Legal, they were wearing WWF branded stuff, and they were trying to start the rumor that both RVD and Sabu had been signed by WWF and that they were going to jump ship. So they were using that because ECW and their fans hated both WWF and WCW, and so they were using that for added heel heat, I guess. So
okay. Wait, that's the most notable thing he did?
Oh, the whistle.
No, the most notable thing Bill Alfonso did, he had a match against Beulah McGillicuddy.
Oh, yes, that's right. And they both are like bleeding buckets for whatever reason. It's like 6 or 7 minutes long.
It's one of the worst, best things that we can't explain happened in the 90s.
Yeah, you could never do that now.
No.
You can do it that way now. No. A full-on hardcore match with two non-workers that are just,
one male and one female, both managers, and both roughly the same size for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was like, I hate that whistle. I'm gonna shove it up his ass.
Yes.
I mean, that makes a great. If he was a heel, I was like, oh, that makes sense.
And they were for a lot of it. RVD was a heel because he was a cocky little shit. Except people liked it, so they just made him a face.
Okay.
And like I said, RVD had that long TV title run. It was like, what was this, 14, 16 months or something like that with that belt. So
1 year, 8 months, 2 hours, and 46 seconds on it.
Yeah. There you go.
I found that this match, like when obviously the lights go out, Sabu pop doing the point to the Sheik, the call back to that, like that was clutch. That's classic ECW.
Yeah.
And then the match was great. You get some smash things, some flips off the chairs, some pretty good spots. Obviously Rhino, Sabu, like famously good workers together, like peanut butter and jelly.
They had some good matches in ECW in '99. Yep.
And because you got like Sabu has that high flying risk taker kind of style, and Rhino's just beast. So like it does it sets up some pretty crazy stuff like that the Arabian Skull Crusher with the chair off the top rope. I even was like, oh, like when he hit it, I was like, that's.
I forgot that was the finish of that match. So when I was watching it back, I was like, oh wow, okay.
And that's not long after RVD does a Van Terminator on his like broken knee.
Yeah.
No, he wasn't kayfabe injured at this time?
That's not a kayfabe injury. He got hurt as a WWE Tag Team Champion with Rey Mysterio on SmackDown back in January of 2005.
So he was just kind of out, but he's like, I can't miss this. I got to do a spot.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely
awesome.
Yeah. RVD's big ECW moment, or I put in air quotes ECW moment, happens 1 year later anyway. So
I do want to. The last thing I was want to say was because I do know, and like seeing the match actually was really great. But I think it was even Paul Heyman that even said that he's like, Sabu probably could have been one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Like he's obviously had some self-destructive habits and injuries and some personal stuff going on. But they said besides that, like when he was like, especially in the 90s, like in some of the early ECW matches and stuff, into like I guess more of the mid 90s. Like I think we talked about this on a past episode, but like just some of the quality of his work, there might not be a better high flyer, maybe Rey Mysterio probably, but different style. But Sabu, probably. I mean, before like guys like I'm thinking of like modern, like Ricochet did a lot of high flying spots, and you get some guys that do off like even AJ Styles does the phenomenal forearm off the top rope, the springboard, right? I think a lot of them owe homage to like Sabu for how good he was and what he did. So, I mean, to see him in action like that was really cool.
Yeah, for sure. If anybody's got any comments or questions on the show, feel free to post it up on the comments wherever they're watching this show. I know that a couple of people have let me know that there's some issues streaming out to Instagram tonight. We are also streaming out on YouTube and on Facebook as well, so you can just look us up there. But I am trying something here, and we'll see if this works. Hopefully it does. I
need to interject on something here before I lose my train of thought.
Yes.
Cody Rhodes right now, biggest face in all of WWE currently. His disaster kick and the Cody Cutter doesn't even happen without Sabu.
Okay.
Using the ropes the way that he does.
Yes. Okay. I see what you mean. Yep.
The Hardys doing the Whisper in the Winds thing. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Poetry in Motion. Where you launch yourself off the back of the other guy so he could vault himself into the corner in a splash or a leg drop. I mean, Sabu was so innovative. And I remember watching this for the first time way back when this first aired on pay-per-view.
Yes.
And I'd never seen Sabu before at that point. This was my introduction to Sabu, and it's like, who the hell is this guy? He looks nuts. He is nuts. Look what he's doing. And then when he does that Arabian moonsault to the outside or the springboard, from the chair to the top rope, flip outside, I'm like, holy shit.
Yes, exactly. And officially we are back on Instagram. So just like that, just
one of your favorites, Mr. Craig, Mr. Hayabusa. So him and Sabu and Hayabusa are like almost like 1A, 1B.
They have a match in ECW in 99, in the summer of 99. It is a tag team match with RVD and Jinsei Shinzaki, who we have covered on the channel before as Hakushi.
Hakushi, that's right. Yes. He's the dude with the white pants and the letters writing all over him.
It's for the ECW tag team titles. It's at Heatwave 99. If we ever decide to do that show, I have a copy of it
on
DVD.
One in FMW?
I think they went back and forth, but the most notable one is the one from the Heatwave pay-per-view. I have a copy of that on DVD because the network is no more, and you can't get any ECW pay-per-views as it is.
Yeah, I tried to look for it today on Netflix, can't find it.
No, they haven't added anything yet. So that's another qualifier for the next thing. by the way, because we know it's Craig's turn to pick. Craig, you're going to be kind of limited this round to the back catalog of WWE shows. That's it.
Or whatever Mr. Nitro has.
I mean, I got a little bit of stuff. I don't have a lot, but
you have a whole library.
I do, but not as extensive as WWE.
You have a spindle of DVDs.
I do. Yes. I don't know what type of quality they are, but there we go. we can run them.
360p.
Yes, exactly. Potato. Al Snow is in the back. He's arguing with Head, and he throws to some late 90s ECW memories. So there we go. So there's the Al Snow and the Head talking. And the Raw Crusaders show up, led by Eric Bischoff, Edge, Snitsky, William Rico.
Don't forget the coach.
The coach, Tyson Tomko.
Don't forget Maven.
Maven, Sylvain Grenier. They're all.
Well, who gives a rat's ass?
This next one. So, Chris Benoit versus Eddie Guerrero. Now, I know that this is not the first Benoit match that we have covered on the channel in this series. I was going back, and of course, No Way Out 2001. Benoit has a match on that. I think was the first time we've encountered it. So we've talked about, separating art from artists before. Are you good? Again, stuff is breaking over on the outside.
Okay, I was just trying to break up the monotony.
Yes. So this is a notable match because this is the last in-ring meeting between the two. Eddie has what I consider to be his GOAT theme music. This is my favorite Eddie Guerrero theme music with the cell phone and everything going on.
No.
And the
no.
GOAT. I love the Grand Theft Auto knockoff License to Steal T-shirt. Damn it, I love that. That's
a
awesome.
great T-shirt, but the song you were so wrong.
I love the theme music. The theme music's awesome. It's
his heel version.
Yes, I love that theme music.
He did a better one.
Just maybe his face music from like 04.
I think it's the last one he used before he passed, to be honest.
Did they remix it? Because I thought
Hold on. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna play it. So good.
Okay, well, while you're looking for it, this is a ECW first because the two have never met in ECW. They talk about that off the beginning of the match. What about Eddie? What's our thoughts on Eddie Guerrero? Because he's a
legend, and I miss him to this day.
We don't think we've really touched on Eddie Guerrero a lot in this series because I don't think there's been a lot of matches or a lot of cards with Eddie Guerrero on it. So,
just like in general, what we think of Eddie Guerrero?
Yeah.
He was phenomenal. I mean, Latino Eat. I mean, what can you say? Viva la Razza. I mean, he was. Oh, there you go.
Okay, yeah, they did remix it then. No, I still like this version better.
I don't like the Gangsta Lean.
Gangsta Lean. Yeah, okay. I remember that one.
I mean, obviously an all-time great. Tragic passing, obviously. But yeah, no, phenomenal wrestler. I remember watching. That was when I was primarily watching wrestling. Like when I was watching week after week after week, was that run against Brock Lesnar to win the title. And obviously in this match with Benoit, I mean, at that same time, Benoit was going for the world title. I went to the Backlash in 04. Eddie wasn't on the card.
No, of course.
But Benoit was, it was a Raw card. But no, I mean, I remember watching WrestleMania 20 on my birthday. It was 2004, so it was like my 13th birthday. And my friends over, and we were eating burgers, and that moment after the match, like we were just all like jumping up, and like it was like the Leafs or the Oilers won the Stanley Cup. It was a big. We were like, holy crap, that's awesome. We didn't think they would give it to him, but they gave it to him. And that moment, like, and JR's just like just like losing his mind.
Yeah, that voice stuck in my brain.
I did it all. This crusade is over.
and then Eddie Guerrero comes out and like lifelong friend from back when they were both, nothings in going back between ECW and Japan and WCW and being forgot about, being laughed at from leaving WCW to go to WWE with oh God, what's his name?
Malenko and Perry Saturn.
Dean Malenko and Saturn.
Yep.
Just seeing, from going all the way up to both being main eventers, carrying both top titles, that moment of the embrace, like that was one of probably the most memorable things I remember when I was watching wrestling all the time. So yeah, Eddie was, and like that promo against, was that Brock? He cut that promo where he talks, because like he take a shot at his addictions and stuff.
Yes, yeah, it was in the lead up to No Way Out.
He does. I am addicted, bro, and he just starts beating his chest about how he lives.
I am addicted to the sport of wrestling.
Yeah, I need it.
Yeah,
like to the fans, and like that might be one of the best promos of all time. A lot of people don't mention that one. I wouldn't mind throwing it in a personal top 10.
That's cool. Yeah.
One of the best promos is the
Yeah, why not?
So yeah, I loved Eddie.
Cool. Yeah.
What do I think of Eddie? What does Ray
go
think?
for it? Yes. Yeah.
Ray's gonna start crying.
This is the polar opposite of the Benoit bashing that we did in the No Way Out pay-per-view. So go nuts, DL.
Eddie Guerrero is a mix of the best parts of Owen Hart and Bret Hart.
Ooh. So he's a Hart hybrid.
Yeah, he's a Hart hybrid. Because he could make you believe in absolutely anything that's going on like Bret Hart. And he can be as heelish or jovial or funny or crazy as Owen. He was the best of both, to be honest. And in his work, everything was tight. It was solid. And then outside of the ring, on the microphone or in the promos, they could be funny. They could be crazy. They could make you want to kill them. They could make you want to cry. They make you laugh. He was the ultimate entertainer. Yeah. And his legacy still lives on with anybody that he crossed paths with. He crossed paths with CM Punk when they were in not even ROH.
Yeah, it was Ring of Honor. It was
no,
prior to Ring of Honor. Yes, that's right.
It was something else. It was like
IWA.
Yeah,
IWA Mid-South.
There's it used to be on YouTube. I think they took it down, but it's a triple threat match between Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero, and CM Punk when he's young.
Yes.
Like he's maybe got 3 tattoos on him.
Yeah. The Pepsi is one of them, but
yeah, the Pepsi, and the straight edge on the stomach and something else. But like Eddie Guerrero impacted all the way like down to the youth and down to the indie leagues.
Yeah.
Everywhere he went, the guy made an impact in a positive way. And I miss him. I know wrestling misses him. And I just wish people would go back into the vault and watch more of his stuff. And take more from his stuff.
Right.
One of my favorites, Wifey, Sasha Banks, takes a lot from Eddie Guerrero, and it helps her to be one of the absolute best women's wrestlers in the world.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly.
And for this match itself, the crowd started to hijack a little bit the show.
It did, but because of the stupid storyline WWE's trying to do.
Yeah, but a lot of that was the invasion guys.
Yeah. That's all it is.
And it took away from this match because I turned the sound down when I watched this match because I just want to watch them wrestle. And one of the sad parts is like when Eddie leaves the ring and he checks and there's a drop of blood coming from the bridge of his nose.
Yeah.
And you could see the kind of pain he's in, and it's not from that spot. It's from like the heart issues that were like affecting him. Like
that's affecting him at that time. And that's part of the reason why his involvement in this show to begin with is kind of in question in the weeks leading up to it and that stuff. That's why
they weren't sure he was healthy enough to make this one.
Yeah, they were going to have him off of the show entirely and that stuff. But like I said earlier, is that the Chris Candido thing happened, so they kind of had to platoon in Eddie Guerrero for this, and then they figured, well, Eddie and Benoit would be a match of the night, so let's book that and see what happens. And they did that. 10:38 for the runtime for it, by the way, and it is the crippler crossface for Benoit that gets the submission victory. At the end as well, further to your point as well, Mr. TL, on this, when the two of them are staring in at each other, you could see Eddie kind of mouth something to Benoit. It's, I owe you. Yeah. So I think that Eddie's mind is, if he ever got healthy enough to get back in the ring, or not healthy enough, but if he ever got Benoit again, it would be a better match. So I think he wanted one more match with Benoit to go full tilt to see what he got, because New Japan, WCW, even leading up to this a couple of times in WWE, they had some banger one-on-one contests because, they're buddies. They got great chemistry. Of course,
and Eddie couldn't bring it the way that he wanted to because of his health condition, which eventually led to his passing.
Yes.
And that's why it's hard for me to watch this match, honestly, because seeing Benoit, and I can't take away what he did. So I just, it's tough to watch anything with him in it.
Which is why I didn't, because we talked about that on our No Way Out 2001 episode. If everybody wants to go and check that out, that's in the archives on the channel. So,
but also just when Eddie goes out of the ring, when he has to take a timeout and he's just bent over and he's like,
he's winded, he's gassed. Yeah.
It's hard to see that kind of like, it's actual pain.
Yeah.
It's tough to watch.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. I was going to say, I noticed that Eddie didn't seem to be maybe as in it. I didn't know if he was going for like an old ECW gimmick or something.
Yeah.
But he seemed, because Eddie, I remember he obviously doesn't come in on the lowrider in this one, and he's doing the dance and doing the chest, and he's getting the crowd, like that was always Eddie. I don't know, maybe and I did see like Chris kind of like checking in with him maybe a few times, like maybe like you said that like he noticed like maybe he's saying like I owe you one or something. And yeah, it is, and like it also is hard to see. Obviously, you can't separate what Benoit did, but Eddie's passing was also a huge blow to Chris. You have to understand, and I think maybe Chris was maybe seeing things wrong, and so maybe like that stuff can compound. When you're like, oh, I was noticing something wasn't going right. I noticed something wasn't maybe well, or I know he was having issues with this and that, and we didn't with years of wrestling abuse and steroids and things that can inflame heart conditions and stuff like that. It's like that happens, and it's tragic because like it's relatable even from my own life, seeing maybe somebody ailing with something and you're checking in, you're not quite sure, and then they go like, oh man, so that it is hard to watch that, especially concerning obviously Benoit's dark future after this point. And
that's right.
And then Eddie passing not even 6 months after this baby, I don't think June, he died in like November or something.
November. Yeah.
So it is hard to watch. I mean, the quality of the match, even when both of these guys are off, one of the best matches on the card.
Oh yes.
Yeah. They each get in a superplex.
It would have been match of the night, but we know what's coming up after this. I can't wait till we get into it. I think that's coming up on the next thing coming up here. But it's definitely it's kind of melancholy watching it, knowing what happens with both these guys, going forward and that stuff and everything. We got some comments here. Rewind 89 contributing quite a bit in our comment box. I'm going to save some of your comments for when he's talking about Taz specifically. When we get to talk about Taz and that whole schmoz and that stuff, I'm going to bring up a lot of what he's got because he's got a lot of good stuff. But I just want to highlight this one that he's brought up. And it says Taz has had some great matches with Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit in ECW. Definitely Taz helped them in the in-ring ability. Well, the matches with, I get what he's saying. Is that working Taz kind of helped sharpen them a little bit? Yeah. Well, I think it helped all three of them. Obviously Taz Benoit, Taz Guerrero, great ECW matches. So there we go. Boom.
Good workers help good workers.
That's what it is. Yes, that's what he's talking about. Yeah.
You put a guy of an Eddie Guerrero caliber in the ring with Ryback, and Guerrero's like, I gotta carry this. But you put Eddie Guerrero in there with Taz. You put Chris Jericho in there with Stone Cold. I mean, good workers help good workers.
Yes,
they're gonna make each other have a
iron sharpens iron. Yes,
exactly,
definitely. Yeah. All right, back to the show here. Ad for the Rise and Fall of ECW DVD, which kind of was the catalyst for all this. We talked about that. Joel Gertner's back. He tries to grab an interview with Eric Bischoff, asked if he could get a job, and Bischoff lays into him. I actually enjoyed this because it was okay. Yeah, it's that stupid BS Raw and SmackDown invasion angle and that stuff, but it's Bischoff basically. He's the lead heel on this show at this point. He kind of takes the spotlight away from JBL and takes the spotlight away from Kurt Angle and that stuff from earlier and says, no, I'm the lead heel here. This is who you should be booing is me. Like I'm the guy that wanted you out of business and I'm dancing on your grave right now. So.
Yeah. And the thing about this promo is like, they could have absolutely done the spot. Paul's call out, have I got something to say to you?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Have them in there. Like, don't even do this whole trot out. Just have them up in the balcony at the beginning of the show. Show them. Like, oh, Joey Styles can be like, oh, we got these WWE Crusaders sitting in attendance today. Like, show them. Have them, like, but don't make them be so hammy about the whole thing, or even the JBL promo. Like, just they can sit and watch. Their whole point is that eventually they're going to get to the point where that tension's building. People know that they're there. The fans know that they're there, and ECW fans are very vocal, and they're going to start yelling at things during the match. But don't give them the focus yet. It's build suspense, build the tension.
Yes.
Build it to the point where people know they're in the building. Fans don't like it. They're looking up at them like those fucks. And then have Paulie come out and then do that say to you comment, and then the building pops. That's when you can give Bischoff a mic, then the middle finger back to him, take some shots at WCW, do the hide your wives, it's Edge. Like,
that was perfect.
Do some great stuff like that. Like, this is where absolutely I love this promo where it was. I have it that be the introduction of them interacting with them, not build it up throughout the show like they're going to do something.
Yeah.
Is then what comes after with the last match, and then we'll get to that, but like then it makes a little bit more sense. And then it's like, oh, that was tapped. Paul Heyman came out and tapped that button, and now there's hostility, and then you get to that last match, and then guess who comes out and instigates it. I think it flows a lot better, and you don't deal with all the crappy buildup.
Yeah, that actually works way better, especially if they just came in street clothes, and as Joey Styles put it, they didn't come looking like a softball team.
Exactly. Why are you all wearing matching T-shirts? Bags?
They're not even T-shirts. That's a problem. They're not T-shirts. They're golf shirts. They have collars on them. Like, you look at the shirts, they're all collared, button-down shirts.
Yeah, they're wearing polos.
They're wearing polos.
You guys on my marketing team?
How do you look tough wearing polos? You don't.
Yeah, they should have just came in like either street clothes or all in suits or something semi-professional. Just had seats up there in the balcony. They're not mentioned.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, they just happen to be there.
Yeah.
And that tension's kind of growing.
Now, the crowd would probably notice them during the show and start firing chants at them and that stuff, but
yeah, exactly. But they don't have to respond back like how Craig was saying, like a whole bunch of like just cartoon idiots.
It works even better in real life because that's what people actually will grow off of. Honestly, the biggest heel heat I've ever seen in my life has nothing to do with wrestling. I was at a hockey game. Where it was the Oilers against the former Arizona Coyotes. And it was when Mike Comrie had finally made his return to Edmonton. And this was like right after the whole like spoiled kid, he left the team, blah, blah, blah.
I remember this, yes.
And he came to Rexall. And I remember, obviously, the hockey, they're not going to build up the hype of Comrie's return. Like, it's going to be mentioned in papers, but people know. The fans know who's going to be there.
Yeah.
It's like the Oilers organization, the arena staff, the event staff, they're not going to actually hype it up. But anytime he touched the puck, boos. As soon as he passes the puck, boo stop. It just glances off of his stick as he redirects a pass. Boo! People like jump into, like, it was unreal. I remember sitting in the stands and like looking at I was with my whole family was at that game. Usually not all of us went, but we were all there. And we were like looking at each other like, this is like, that's like, when the entire ring started chanting Comrie sucks.
Yeah.
Sucks. And like, it was deafening.
It was also the way those old arenas were built back in the day too. They were built for sound to kind of go inwards and not out. nowadays the arenas are built to go out, right? So
yeah, and so all that tension's building, it's happening. People are screaming at him.
Yeah.
He gets a penalty.
Oh no.
Whalers are already winning 3-1. I think they won.
Yeah.
And he gets a penalty, and they put the camera right on his face.
Oh.
The booze. And then Connery, to his credit, this has nothing to do with wrestling. He's not doing a promo. He's just trying to play a game. Looks at the camera and does a at the fans. And everybody loses their minds. Like, screaming, I was like that. And like people were throwing things at the back of the penalty box. Like somebody ripped an old beer can at the box. And back. I was like, oh. And to Mike's credit, because Connery came back, he matured. Yeah. I thought, he kind of redeemed himself. But I mean, I remember that. And it was like, that's the whole thing. You let that simmer. You let it build. You let the crowd steer a little bit.
That's right. Yeah.
Don't force it.
Yeah. Yeah. The only downside to the return was he was involved with Hillary Duff and got mono. That was the only thing. So the only downside.
You got Lizzie McGuire. I mean,
really, Hillary Duff, Miley Cyrus. You don't know where they were. So
where are we on this card?
We're at the we're at the car wreck, Mr. TL. Mike Awesome versus Masato Tanaka. Now, footnote. I was looking through some old notes from, remember the website Nexopia?
Your name should be footnote.
This match was voted the match of the year in 2005 in the old Dungeon Pro Wrestling forum on Nexopia, which I moderated. I kind of popped myself with that when I looked at that. By the way, the 2006 match of the year was Rey Mysterio versus Triple H at WrestleMania. Those were the only two matches of the year that forum ever had. So,
Rey Mysterio versus Triple H
at WrestleMania.
Is that when Rey
2006?
He won the world title.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what they had voted for the 06 one. This match here, Awesome versus Tanaka from ECW One Night Stand 2005, was the unanimous winner of match of the year in 2005.
I don't know if I agree with this.
Rey Mysterio wrestled Triple H.
I believe that would have been
WrestleMania 22 in Chicago.
Let's see. No. WrestleMania 22
was Chicago.
Chicago.
That was Rey Mysterio.
No, he defeated Kurt Angle and Randy Orton in a triple threat. Triple H lost to Cena for the championship.
Yeah, I'm like, that's Cena and Triple H, where CM Punk is hanging off the side of the car of John Cena's entrance.
Where was my notes initially for that? Because I'm gonna have that.
Rey Mysterio never wrestled Triple H on a WrestleMania.
Hang on.
That's never happened in the history of anything.
Yeah. Sorry about that. That's my miss. Anyway, whatever. So
I don't even think they've ever had a one-on-one match.
It was probably match of the year in my mind on like SmackDown versus Raw, like 2006.
How did you dig so deep and get that so wrong?
I got that so wrong. Yeah, I can't imagine that. What was that? What did they have for 06? Anyway, it doesn't matter. This is match of the year in 2005. Joey Shooty got awesome throughout this thing. Kind of cringy comment. Suicide dive by Mike Awesome, and it's a shame that he didn't take his own life,
which he later did.
Yes, that's the unfortunate end to that story. Yes. Awesome bomb to Tanaka to the outside for the table. Awesome splash, only that's a 2 count. There's some stiff chair shots, chair assisted high spots from Masato Tanaka. DDT through the table by Tanaka, only that's a 2 count. Did I forget to mention that Masato Tanaka is still active in pro wrestling to this day?
How is he still alive?
I know, but the dude is still active in pro wrestling. It's unreal. Like, he had a match on a prestige independent wrestling card like over the weekend in the States. It's unreal. He's bald now. There's a DDT for the table by Tanaka, only that's a 2 count. Awesome bomb only or for the table, only nets 2. The crowd is just getting hot, and they get red hot towards the end of this. Like, it's the loudest. This compare this one to the Sandman pop at the end of the night when Sandman makes his entrance. Those two pops are similar, but it's the hottest sounding the crowd has been all night up until this point. Like, it is.
Honestly, this is the most ECW match on the thing.
Oh, it is. It is
second most, because we got Rhino and Sabu.
Yeah.
But this one was just like brutal.
Mm-hmm. And rewind.
It's a condensed version of the one that we saw.
There we go. Yeah. Rewind 89. It's a great match. Mike Awesome Tanaka had some great matches. They beat the shit out of each other in all their matches. Yeah, absolutely. And that was I think that's what they were hoping for when they booked this. This
is a better version, a more condensed version of what we saw on the last review.
Yeah.
Where it was them two after getting rid of Taz early.
Yes, that's right.
And this was just done better.
Yeah, quickly to finish here, Awesome bomb to the outside, followed by an Awesome splash, rapid fire to the outside by Awesome for the 1-2-3. It is still effing insane. Well, fucking insane. It's ECW, I can swear. 20 years later, in my opinion. So, yeah, it's. I watched this again, and of course, it's it's got 20 years of age on it and everything. But you're watching this, and it's like, yeah, there's nothing like it nowadays in any promotion at all. So, I mean, this was just unreal.
That last camera shot where Awesome just vaults Tanaka like a sack of shit over his shoulders, then through that table, and then
the dive
him in that rubble, and then he just dives on top of him.
I know,
like Wile E. Coyote out of nowhere.
Yeah. It's like Tanaka's holding up the help sign, and the boulder smashes him. Yes, at the end, at the bottom of the.
It's out of nowhere. Here comes Mike Awesome.
Just obliterates him.
Oh God, what a shot!
Yeah, it is an insane matchup. It is. It's match of the card for sure. It's match of the night. If we were to do the poll, it probably gets like 100% of the vote. Which there's no point in doing the poll. There it is.
You can make an exception. Maybe the main event.
I think this is better than the main event, dude. Honestly, I think this is it right here. These guys just on the line, just in the most positive way.
Oh yeah, remember he gave him that suplex, and then he just got right back up and went.
Yeah.
Awesome just hit him again.
And the crowd and the eyes on Awesome like bug it out. Like, what am I gonna do to kill this guy? I've tried for a decade prior. He's still walking.
I love when Tanaka just like gets right back up after being slammed or something, runs right at Awesome, and Awesome just puts him back down.
My question is, what is Masato Tanaka made of that he's still active in the sport of wrestling 20 years later after having these type of matches? It's unreal.
Cocaine and stem cells.
What do they build Japanese wrestlers out of? Like, it's unreal. Those guys are like the toughest dudes on the planet.
And oh man, there's a shot where he's all athletic, taped up on his shoulder.
Yeah.
And somewhere in the match, his shoulder's bleeding. I'm like, oh my God, how much pain is this guy in?
Yep.
Yeah. No, this match, I remember watching this and like they came out and like, I don't know why, like I'm expecting Mike Awesome to look more ECW because he's like in the black trunks. And I'm like, this just looks like a standard wrestler. And then the match gets going and you're just like the clinic that they put on and the smashing. And like this Tanaka guy, I was like, this guy's nuts. Like, why are they doing the Awesome bomb off the top? I was like, holy shit.
I know.
If I was in the audience, I would have been like, this is fucking stupid.
But Craig, this is the match I wanted you to see out of when TL and I, we full context, we went back a few years ago after one of the Rumble parties at TL's place. We hung around, we were watching old matches and that stuff, and we were kind of doing like I don't know, it was kind of like a lightning round of just matches where we were just showing each other like different matches and stuff like that. And I brought this match up and showed him this match again. And then we were like, we got to get Craig to watch this because Craig would have so much insight and it's so much fun watching this. So this was the one match on the card I wanted you to see. So yeah, absolutely. All the feedback you want on this one, go nuts.
Oh, it was great. I thought, I was like, because this really really showcased a lot of their skill in the ring, and then how like hardcore, like brutal matches and like smashing tables. Like some people, I mean, maybe like the technical purists might be like, oh, it's all bullshit. You throwing out barbed wire.
Throw that out the window. You saw your technical wrestling in the first hour with Jericho and Storm,
exactly,
and that stuff, right?
But
and
it's like
Benoit and Guerrero, right? So
yeah, this shows that like that stuff can still lead to a great technical match, can lead to a great display, a performance, an entertaining story. Even when you're like sitting there almost like I don't even know if I can keep watching this. Can you guys just stop? Because I don't want any of you to like break your neck. But like, it was pretty incredible. I think he does the cover right at the end, and then he just gets up and like fucks off. Like, jeez. pretty good. This got me hyped. I remember I was kind of in a lull after the, kind of the sad, or just watching the technical match of Benoit and Guerrero, and then they did the promo and everything like that, and then they get back to it with this. And this was also like right after too, because I think JBL, they were like yelling at him and stuff too, or like, you're just like indie guys or whatever. They come out and put this on. It was definitely like in many ways probably an ECW FU to like WWE and WCW as well. Just like
it's unreal. It's the match of the night. It's great. There are people that are taking exception to these comments in the chat here, so I'll throw up Rewind 89 as a 2-part comment here. I'll just read it as verbatim here. It says, what the fuck are you guys talking about? ECW wasn't all blood and guts. They had some of the best technical wrestling ever seen, which we had talked about. That yes, there is some great technical wrestling on this. ECW was an all-around great promotion, high spot, hardcore technical wrestling, not tactical. I think that's a autocorrect error there. And then, so by saying that that's the most ECW match of the night, you've probably never seen an ECW pay-per-view or watched the product.
Wrong. Mr. Rewind, how wrong you are.
Wrong. Go ahead, TL.
Our previous show was watching an ECW pay-per-view and how terrible it really was.
We did ECW Anarchy Rules 99. That was a previous show, yes. And
it was a load of shit.
A ton. There's a ton of ECW reviews on this channel that I've done myself as well. So.
And by the way, when I said it was the most ECW match, what I also mean besides it was just blood and guts, and yes, it was, it was also two guys who had never stepped foot in a WWE ring.
That's right. These two...
If all you would watch was a WWE product, you have no idea who these two are. Everybody up to this point, you kind of know who they are because they've been in the WWE, whether it be Rhino, Lance Storm, Jericho, Rey Mysterio. This is the first match that has people you're like, who the hell are these two?
That's right. Yeah, if you were stuck, and you have to think back to the era, because like we said earlier off the beginning of the show here, 2005, you're just watching WWE. That's the only pro wrestling that's widely available in North America on TV. Like we had mentioned, there's little spots here and there where you're getting TNA and the tape traders are watching Ring of Honor, but other than that, that's it. This is a brand new, fresh thing to your eyes. You're like, oh, okay, yes, I forgot that this existed, and it's been out of your mind for longtime fans for somewhat like 3 or 4 years or so. Like, the last ECW on TNN was September of 2000. So like that's, it's fresh in everybody's mind, especially for somebody who started watching wrestling maybe in like 01 or 02 or something. And they're watching the Ruthless Aggression era in WWE and coming over and seeing this for the first time. That's it. This is an absolute eye-opening car wreck. And this is what it doesn't just glorify ECW. This is, in my mind, when I think ECW, I think these two guys just giving it their all in the ring like that. Because these are two guys that are just, they're not household names. They never were household names. But if you mention to some people their names, they know them from like stuff like this, especially this match. So.
It's not about storyline. This was not about an overblown feud. This wasn't because somebody kidnapped the boss's daughter and drugged her and married her. This has nothing to do. Right. This has nothing to do with a title. This has nothing to do with who's going to go to the main event. This is two guys in a fucking fight.
Yes,
in a fucking fight.
That's right. Exactly.
There you go.
So there we go. Awesome. Again, insane 20 years later. This match is one that I could safely say does still hold up 20 years down the line. It's unreal. So post-match, there's an awesome bomb for good measure on the referee as well. We don't see Jim Molyneux for the rest of the night. That's it. He's done. Nice. You're done. That's it. And that was the last televised match of Mike Awesome's career, unfortunately. But as I said, Masato Tanaka still active, which is crazy to me. Like, the dude must be built of, like, what was that thing? Adamantium?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Indestructible metal.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever the Japanese version of adamantium is or something. I don't know. ECW music hits. Bob Ortiz, the original ECW ring announcer, hits the ring. And then here comes Paul E. The man is absolutely touched by the fans. He thanks Todd Gordon, thanks Ron Buffon and Charlie Bruzzese, who was his co-producers on the show. And he says he was going to take the high road and leave, but he has something to say to the Crusaders. He rips into Bischoff. He rips into Edge. Let's hide your wives. It's Edge.
Stop.
Okay. Go
ahead. Let Craig do the whole promo.
You don't have to if you don't remember it, but if you got any favorite spots, go nuts.
JBL, the only reason you're world heavyweight champion for a year is because Triple H didn't want to work Tuesday.
Yeah.
Since you want to shoot, cowboy.
Yeah.
Here's your shot.
That's so funny.
Hide your wives. It's Edge.
Not freaking Hardy.
It is 3 words.
Edge doing the fountain with the beer, and then he gets the free, and then they cut away from it too quick. That's the only little production botch out of it, is that they cut away right when he's switching his face to the V1 like that. It should have been like V1 like that. Yeah. That's freeways. That's it.
And it's not Paul Heyman with his tail between his legs at a WCW pay-per-view.
That's right.
You are in our house, bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Shoot
promo with JBL revs the crowd up prior to the main, and then we go right into a WWE 24/7 ad. Remember that service, everybody?
Nope. No, I don't.
Next. Anyways, it's time for the main event of the evening, the advertised main event of the evening. It is the Dudley Boys taking on Tommy Dreamer and Sandman in a tag team encounter. And this thing was, as we get the Dudley salute from Craig there. Where's my window for that? There it is. 10 minutes and 13 seconds. The Dudley Boys defeating Tommy Dreamer and Sandman. And by the way, on the Nitro Drive, I wanted Craig to see this. Was a unedited version of the original music playing for the Sandman for that entrance pop, which is one of the all-time entrances in wrestling history right there. That's up there with, the Road Warriors rolling in on the bikes in Wembley that we had talked about. That's up there with...
This is way better.
That's up there with, Hulk Hogan in the Silver Dome. We don't talk about Hogan, but this is way better. This is up there with Stone Cold, the glass breaking at WrestleMania 17 in Houston.
This is way better.
And that's... TL thinks is this okay? Fine, TL. Is this the greatest entrance in wrestling history right here?
HBK coming down on the zipline.
This is way better.
Is it Bret Hart walking out to the full Calgary Saddle Dome during the Canadian versus US?
Well, unfortunately, Bret Hart's theme song doesn't have lyrics.
Oh,
so
okay.
This is way better.
You love this entrance, don't you?
It might be the greatest entrance for a wrestler of all time.
Okay, that's what I was trying to get.
They played the whole song of Enter Sandman by Metallica. And the whole crowd is singing it as loud as they can. He is in the crowd. He's smashing beers on his forehead. He's hitting himself in the head with a Singapore cane, riling everybody up. Mick Foley says it kind of in the background. He says, they believe because he believes, and now I believe in the Sandman. And I always hated that call, but years later, I'm like, no, I kind of get it. I get it now. Good one, Mick. But it might be the greatest entrance of all time.
Could be. I definitely think the only one maybe that might have been better is I think he did a surprise one where he came back from an injury or something, and they had the lights off, and then they started playing Enter Sandman. But this is insanity. You can only dream about this as a wrestler. The guy that grabs the cane, starts hitting himself with it, and Sandman's just like, what the fuck are you doing?
Oh yeah, he just takes it. He takes it out of his head. Yeah.
And it's so great because he just seems like just some drunk guy that showed up from Philly. If somebody's show me a 5-second clip of Philadelphia Eagles fans, and it would just be Sandman standing there drunk and people screaming around him.
Philadelphia Flyers fans.
They're
the worst.
Yeah, so
No, that's the Phillies fans that
Philly
were
fans in general.
Philly in general is a piece of shit town. Sorry.
Sorry,
sports fans ruin everything about your town.
That's what I'm saying. It's like they're
cheesesteak.
Loud and they're brash, and this entrance encapsulates all of it. And he just seems so nonchalant, spitting beer out. And it's like, yeah, this guy's ready to go in there and fight. You got the Dudleys that are just getting psyched up. They're like, get in here so we can kick your ass. And he's like, I'll fucking get there.
Meanwhile, Devon's like doing the Hardy's dance to the theme song, which is hilarious.
Yeah. It's great.
Yeah.
I love
that was awesome. Yeah.
Dreamer. First of all, here's the other thing. Dreamer comes out to an instrumental version of Man in the Box.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
Which is honestly, I mean, when I'm comparing it to Enter Sandman, is actually a better song. It's Lane Staley. Not as popular of a song.
Do tell.
Because it's not as good.
Because we're about to have a hard rock throwdown here, me and you, Mr.
Well,
Fraser.
not really. I don't hard rock. I'm just saying, in my ears, one sounds better.
This is our version of Lamar versus Drakey here. So
I'm just saying, there's way better Metallica songs than Enter Sandman. I love Enter Sandman.
Okay, fair enough. I'll give him that.
It's their most iconic song.
Yeah, but there are better Metallica songs. Yes.
Listen.
I'll give him that.
Enter Sandman is the song that got me into heavy music.
Oh, it's so bad.
I didn't say it was bad.
Okay.
I did not say it at any point did I say it was bad. Mm-hmm. I said that man.
You tell me what I said. Gotcha.
I can actually finish the sentence. But
wow.
Tell me what I said.
You tell me what I said.
Patriot.
There's no doubt that Enter Sandman is the best known Metallica song. It's the most popular. It's the most widely known. I'm not debating any of this. I'm saying that I think Man in the Box is a better song than Enter Sandman. I don't think Alice in Chains are a better band than Metallica.
Yeah.
I do think they have a better drummer. But I mean, Lane Staley, I would say Lane Staley was a better vocalist than any other grunge band at that time. I thought he was better than Kurt Cobain. I thought he was better than any better as a vocalist. That's my take. Now,
sounds like shit.
What?
He
sounds like Lane Staley sounded like shit.
Oh, in that song he does.
No, he doesn't. It's an amazing song.
Hey, rap boy, you're rap boy. You're kind of in over your head here.
So over your head here.
Let Mr. Fraser.
Oh, fuck you! I still got ears.
No,
I still have ears, and I've heard the song.
You really don't. Man in the Box is one of the one of the hardest to sing songs in rock music. It is.
It is.
Ask any vocal coach.
It's a tough.
Ask any vocal coach, and Coldplay is hard to sing. Don't make it good.
No, Coldplay's not that hard to sing. Which song?
Yes, it fucking is, because the guy doesn't sing on tune.
He doesn't sing on tune? What are you talking about? You don't know anything about music.
But we're
really?
You don't.
What do you know?
But
I know a lot more. You tell me what you know.
I know a lot more.
You tell me what you know. You're such a musician.
Man in the Box is one of the hardest to sing rock songs. It is an amazing song. You're wrong.
Oh, why? Because you couldn't clear it on Rock Band back when you had a PS3?
No, because I understand music.
Do you?
Yes, I do.
And what? Okay, sure. Okay, if you're such a patriot.
Here's the thing. I'm not gonna dare to go into like rap and hip hop and pretend to be like, oh, I know everything there is to know when I'm not that hard of a fan about it. Mm-hmm. I could say like I like this song, but if you, as someone who is more of a hip hop head, would be like, well, hey, look at this track or this rapper, this guy's a lot better. Yes. I'll listen to it and I'll go like, oh, okay. What I'm saying is that Enter Sandman is a great song. I'm not pointing if I said you shouldn't listen to Enter Sandman or it's terrible or boo, it sucks. I would say I would rather, if I was going to come out to a Metallica song, I would rather come out to For Whom the Bell Tolls. I'd rather come out to Battery. I would rather come out to Sanitarium. I would rather come out to, Master of Puppets, Creeping Death. I would rather come out to One. I would rather come out to One. It's a great song. It's an amazing
You have the longest entrance of all time to get that thing going.
You'd have to pick it up in the middle where it's.
I'm not starting with the whole song. You can absolutely cut One into a part where it's great for a wrestling entrance, and I would start at that part. You're gonna tell me that's not great. It is.
It's a great song.
A long way, and you forgot Seek and Destroy.
Seek and Destroy is a great song.
It's a great song, as we've seen recently in AEW with Sting. So
yeah,
you know.
And that's the thing. Enter Sandman is an awesome song. I'm not saying it's not. I'm saying that Man in the Box is a better song. And
for wrestling?
I'm saying it's a better song. It's a better song. And I also, it can be. Are you talking about that chorus of, my eyes? You're coming out there, you're spitting beers.
So
I'm a terrible singer. I'm just saying that is a great tune.
To bring it back to the pay-per-view, did the instrumental version of Man in the Box tick the box? I guess for you.
It was good, but it wouldn't be as good as if they.
No, of course not. You're not going to get the licensing for it.
Region, right? Yeah, you can get the actual song, but like Jerry Cantrell on like the wow 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 wow, like
with the talk box on the guitar. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
it's great.
Terrific.
Okay.
The reason I'm going to argue with you is because it's completely opinionated on what makes a song good or not. You can't quantify that, and for me, nothing about that song makes it better.
Well, you're just wrong. So it's
I'm not wrong.
It's
and you're not right.
Yes, I am actually.
No, you're not. There's nothing to quantify it as a better song.
Yeah, it is. It's a way more
better song.
I'll tell you if you shut up. What makes it a better song? It has way better chord progression, way more progressive chord progression. It's more complex. It has a way better bass riff. The drumming is a lot better. The singer is, Jeff Hanfield is a great chorus vocalist. He's a great singer.
Of course, yeah.
Great singer, but Lane Staley is a better melodic singer. He has way better range.
I'll give you that.
Better range. The lyrics are the lyrics are actually touch on religious issues. It's actually a very, very intricate song in terms of how the chorus material, what he's singing about. It's a better vocal range, the complex progression. It's just in terms of a harder song to sing. It's a much harder song to sing than Enter Sandman.
No, there's some tempo.
Yeah, you know what? That doesn't make it a better song.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
You're gonna have an entire arena of people singing Enter Sandman like they do for college football. Who the fuck is singing Man in a Box?
Who cares? You can
sing. An arena full of people.
I could sing. Everybody can sing. We Will Rock You.
There's that
arena. Just the arena rock song. You could sing. You could sing Nickelback in an arena song. And crowds could be singing the lyrics. That doesn't. So what? I still say it's a more difficult.
So you have a song that people want to sing with all of their hearts as loud as they can, versus you in your basement with your headphones going, yeah. How is that a better song?
It just is. It's a better song.
It's no. Let's go to the main event. Let's just go to the main event.
Okay.
This is horseshit. This is such horseshit.
We'll be here all day. And don't forget, we still have the schmoz after this, too, to kind of sift through as well. So this main event goes 10-13. I
know he's trolling me.
Last
too.
appearance.
He's trolling me.
Oh, God. It's a better song.
It's not a fucking better song.
This is the last appearance of the Dudleys in the WWE. They go to TNA shortly afterwards, in the fall of 2005. There's a nice pop for Tommy. We talked about the iconic pop for Sandman, just raw energy. And the Sandman was on both shows. So there we go. He was on Hardcore Homecoming and on this one. There is a beer in air quotes beer salute to both Chastity and Elektra at ringside, who are both former ECW valets.
Footnote, get us in the ring.
Extremely hot crowd for this main event. And this was supposed to be Dreamer's last match ever, and it wasn't. So there we go. Before the match even starts, though, the BWO shows up. Meanie, Nova, and Stevie Richards. Meanie and Nova were on both shows. And Stevie was on Velocity at the time. Bischoff's looking pissed, by the way, at this. They cut to him a couple of times. It's absolutely just sour for this entire thing.
Was that directly to be like a troll to?
I think so. Yeah, yeah. Paul wanted the BWO knowing that Bischoff was there to do this. He wanted to get Bischoff's genuine reaction, because Bischoff obviously had no idea that ECW was even doing a NWO parody when they were doing the NWO parody. So
the Blue Group was doing a whole bunch of parodies of anybody in wrestling, but the BWO was one of the latest parodies, and it just happened to stick.
Yes. Yep. That's right. They were doing parodies of the Fabulous Ones. They were doing parodies of Kiss. I know that's not wrestling, but
they would parody everything. But
they would parody everything.
The BWO,
Yep.
Which is and that's what Joey Styles says in the commentary. He says they couldn't sue us because it's a parody. So they got away with selling BWO merchandise all they wanted.
And that thing got to like NWO B team levels at one point. They had like they had Meanie doing the Scott Hall shtick. They had Stevie Richards doing Kevin Nash. They had Nova doing Hollywood Hogan. They had jobbers in the back. They had one jobber dressed up in a leather jacket and with a bandana that looked like 6, but his number was 711. So was walking around and a couple other things as well. And it just was like it's funny stuff if you ever get a chance to take a look at it, but it hasn't aged well. It comes across as like poor cable access than anything else nowadays. But anyways, 3 simple words were taking over, and then they started beating up Dreamer and Sandman. Kid Cash, fresh from TNA, hits the ring. And Axel, our old buddies, Axel Rotten, Balls Mahoney, hit the ring and clear house. And then Kid Cash hits a mega dive to the outside. This is just one big giant schmoz, by the way. And the schmoz was enough to get Kid Cash hired by WWE, by the way. And he stays for a couple of years. He gets himself in a video game. So good for him, I guess. And then the bell rings and it's deathmatch time. So yay! We have use of a cheese grater on Dreamer. There's tons of plunder in the ring. We see for the finish, it's all a bunch of weapon stuff. There's a few wrestling moves thrown in there too and everything, but there's a lot of
cheese grater.
I said cheese grater. Yes, there's a cheese grater in there. Bubba uses a cheese grater on Tommy. There's a pair of figure fours by Dreamer and Sandman. The Impact players hit the ring. Just Incredible hits a tombstone on a roll of barbed wire on the Sandman, and then Francine hits the ring and kicks Dreamer in the junk below the belt. And then we see Beulah McGillicuddy. She hits the ring, and there's a cat fight. And that was Beulah.
Yeah. Say it, Craig.
Cat fight!
Beulah and Dreamer embrace while Dreamer's just bloody, and they hit a double DDT. It's kind of sick, but the crowd popped for it, so good, I guess. I don't know, whatever. Just carnage, and the crowd is hot for it. And then a powerbomb through the table, nets only a 2 for the Dudleys. Little Spike Dudley hits the ring. There's lighter fluid on the table, and then Tommy gets powerbombed through the fire table for the finish. The 1-2-3, the Dudleys get the win. There we go. Look at our finish right there. To bring up the fact that we were talking about what is ECW on the show, what isn't, or what is WWE on the show. This is obviously ECW because it's just an overbooked mess. And that is ECW. We talked about that in the last show, how they love to overbook everything. So, but yeah, this is as ECW as ECW gets.
But this is the best overbooking I've ever seen ECW pull off.
Oh yeah, absolutely, by far. I
don't know what's about this match. It was a complete car crash. It was fun to watch.
Yeah,
the cheese grater was involved.
There's nostalgia pops. So there you go.
Beulah gets in the match, which is Tommy Dreamer's actual life.
Yeah. They're still married, I believe. So good for them. Yeah.
Yeah, the Dudleys, this is their last match ever in
WWF. Yeah, on this run. Yeah. They leave for TNA right after. Well, they leave for Japan first and then didn't go to TNA yet. So
it actually makes me wonder, Kid Cash, his appearance here, this is the first ever appearance of a contracted TNA wrestler in WWE.
It would be, but he was not under contract to TNA. He was terminated by TNA about 3 or 4 weeks prior to the show. So
weeks. Wow.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, and he had this was the first time his no compete from TNA literally ran out the weekend before. So this was like the first time anybody's seen him since then.
Which is funny because Joey Styles referred to him as the total nonstop action wrestler.
Yeah. Total nonstop attitude, I believe is what they said. They were playing off of that because there was some controversy on how he was released from TNA at the time.
No footnote. We don't like to know. No.
I'm not. No, I don't know the exact specifics.
You know everything. But I am putting a stop to this. Let's go to the schmoz at the end.
The schmoz at the end. Post-match, the Dudleys drag Beulah back, but the Sandman tries to fight them off with the cane.
Wait, time out.
Yeah?
Greg, this is your first time watching that match?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Is your first time seeing a cheese grater applied to another human?
I saw it. Well, kind of. I mean, I saw in a wrestling documentary. I think it was about CZW.
Yeah.
I saw.
Oh yeah, they still.
I've seen a clip of them using a cheese grater. So, not the first time I've seen it happen.
What was your reaction to seeing that?
I don't know. I was just kind of like, oh yeah, they're gonna use a cheese grater, gonna cut them with a cheese grater, and that was how he's gonna get color. Or I don't know if they I don't know if they bladed, or if they did it the hard way with the cheese grater. Which I mean,
well, no, because it went the wrong direction. I had to watch it again to be like, oh, that's the trick.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they go the other way, so they're pulling up like this. Okay, so they blade.
Yeah, they're going the wrong.
Yeah, they don't go down.
They're going with the grain instead of against it. So they're not really shredding anything.
Yeah,
it's a blade, and then they just work it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It didn't really shock me. Like, I've seen some clips of like hardcore.
You're getting cut, but it's like, skinning your knee or something like that on how you're getting cut compared to.
I'm sure, like, if I saw it live and it was like I hadn't seen it before, I'd be like, oh shit, okay. But
that's what I was like. The first time we're watching that, it actually made me sick.
Oh, yes.
Because I'd never seen anyone use
shock value. Yeah, absolutely.
I've never seen anyone use a cheese grater as a weapon. I'm like, that's horrific.
I might also be desensitized because I've like growing up, I loved watching slasher movies and like horror movies.
Yeah.
So it's like he's using a cheese grater, and I'm like, yeah, I saw a guy.
What slasher movie did they use a cheese grater? I don't want to know.
I'm not talking about cheese grater specifically. I'm just saying, like, but if you've seen movies where, like, Jason Voorhees is literally pulling a guy's intestines out, and, like, or somebody's ripping somebody's lungs out through their mouth, like, it's like you get.
But that's a movie, and this being wrestling, where it's like live improv.
Yeah, but
fighting.
It's still at work. It's still, it hurts. I'm not saying it's easy or it's painless. So the guys got to cut themselves, and they got to still get hit with a cheese grater or take a bump on thumbtacks. Like, yeah, it's like, oh, it's grisly, but like, I don't know. Like, I'm used. I guess it's like I've seen media where like there's violence, so it didn't as much get my cackles up or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I thought you made a Freudian slip there.
Yeah, I was gonna say cockles up, but it's cackles.
I don't know if I want to pod with you anymore.
Sorry, my mind was like, phrasing, boom,
phrasing.
Yeah. Here's some stills from the match, by the way. So just to get that
cheese grater.
Here's a cheese grater right
Sandman on the ladder.
Yeah, Sandman doing the rolling rock, and we got the what's up with the sign.
Oh man, Devon's selling is amazing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then there's the table with the Sandman.
That's a 3D through the table. Did you get the part with the fire?
Yes, I did.
Shot. Look at him, he's on fire.
He's on fire.
Boom. Again, that's the first time I'd been introduced
fire
to
table. Yeah, that's the first time they ever used under the WWE auspices a flaming table and anything. Yeah, definitely. Yep. And they busted that spot out at WrestleMania the next year with Edge and Foley. Which I went back through my notes. That Edge versus Foley match was the match of the year in 2006 in the Dungeon Pro Wrestling. That's the one.
There you go.
Yeah. I thought it was not this Rey Mysterio Triple H mythical match from
Nexopia.
Yeah, from Nexopia back in the day.
Nexopia Professional Wrestling.
Yeah. So had to be there. You had to be there.
NPW.
The glass breaks. It's Stone Cold, by God, in an OG Las Vegas Outlaws XFL jersey. Fuck,
that's awesome.
Yes.
That was hilarious.
I don't have a still frame of him in the jersey, but I have a still frame of him wearing the cowboy hat at the end of the show with the jersey on, and it's the most amazing thing ever. It's awesome. It's one of Stone Cold's most underrated outfits, I find.
It's true. It is true.
We get an Austin promo, and he says it's beer bash time, and then White Zombie hits Thunder Kiss 65. Craig, thoughts on White Zombie?
I like White Zombie.
I like White Zombie too. Yes, yeah. White Zombie or Rob Zombie?
I think Rob Zombie might have been a better performer with White Zombie, but I mean, I think he had some of his bigger hits by himself. I mean, Dracula. I think
Living Dead Girl.
Yeah. But I mean, Whites, they're all right. They're that southern poison metal, you know, like they got that. They're like
Thrill Billy metal.
Thrill Billy, yeah, they're gonna
Thrill Billy metal. Yeah,
like the Leonard Skinner of metal.
Yeah. Rob Zombie, great artist, better horror movie director. I'll go ahead and say that.
Not bad movies.
Not bad movies. No, definitely.
I do personally think he's a bit of a schmuck because he's notorious for canceling shows last minute.
Mm-hmm.
And when we went to the Chaos Fest that was in Edmonton a couple of years ago, it might have been like 5 years ago now.
Yeah,
that was Slayer's last show in Alberta ever.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh, it was so good. And Gwar was there.
Mm-hmm.
They were gonna have at the last day. They had it was gonna be Rob Zombie and then Marilyn Manson. And then
I remember this. Yeah, they canceled for whatever reason.
Yeah, they brought the Cult on, which is hilarious.
That's not the crowd for the Cult.
The Cult, no. But you know
what?
The Cult came out there, and the Cult was like, they started singing "She Sells Sanctuary." It was just great, and then like Manson comes on right afterwards.
Yes,
but yeah, White Zombie's all right.
Mr. TL's having a few.
Oh, I'm just having a tequila and balancing a wine glass and a beer mug until you shut the fuck up and get to the schmoz.
We're in the middle of the schmoz. We're talking. Everyone comes out. Austin says, first we fight, then we drink, basically, and he calls out the Crusaders, and it takes forever for these guys to get down to the ring.
They were crawling to the ring.
They were just going, okay, I guess we have to earn our paycheck. The crowd chants, we want Taz, big pop, here comes Taz. Yes, and there was a question in the weeks leading up to this, which side Taz would be on. Would he be on the ECW side for the show? Would he be on the Crusader side? Because he was on SmackDown as their lead color commentator, right? And he comes out and Taz starts choking out Kurt Angle, who had punked him out the week before on SmackDown, and there's a huge fight, and this is where the infamous brawl happens between the Blue Meanie and, well, that's the aftermath of that, where they're all on the outside. But the infamous brawl between Blue Meanie and JBL. I don't know if you know the story about this, Craig, or not. Mr. TL knows the story, right? Hey, Tequila Boy.
What?
What do you do you know the story between JBL and Blue Meanie?
Are you doing a footnote or are you not doing a footnote?
I'm letting you do the footnote. You
do a footnote.
No, you do the footnote.
You do the footnote.
Would you know that?
He's fussy.
Was it just the?
So right there in this circle
Yeah.
is JBL actually shooting on Blue Meanie for real. I know it's kind of pixelized and whatever, but that's from the DVD itself.
I have heard about this. Now, according to Blue Meanie,
that's the aftermath.
Yeah, he busted them.
Yes.
According to the Meanie, I think he said JBL was planning it ahead of time, or JBL said it happened in the moment, or was an accident, which I don't buy.
Meanie thinks it stems back to something that happened in '99 when they were both in WWE and something backstage at a show or whatever. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he I guess went right for him or something and just straight punching him to the face or something like that. I guess. And,
well, yeah, you watch the brawl. He's feeding shots, and Meanie's trying to protect him and that stuff. But no, JBL was supposed to be paired off with one of the WWE guys. He kind of breaks off and goes right after Meanie.
Yeah. No, that's bullshit. But JBL is notoriously one of like the worst pricks that's ever been in WWF. Apparently, like even back in the even I think it was Taker even said, and like Bradshaw would be a guy that like it's like he was just gonna if you came in new, like he was just gonna be terrible too. Like I think even to he was bad to the Miz.
Right.
A lot of guys were bad to the Miz, but JBL is usually notoriously. But I do think it's one of those funny things too. It's like JBL was also the guy like during the Brawl for All that thought like he was gonna win. And a lot of guys thought he was gonna win, and then who took him out again? Was it Bart Gunn or was it no, it wasn't like
I'm trying to remember because they've had JBL on as a co-host with Conrad Thompson on his podcast recently because Bruce is going through some health issues and stuff like that. And he just talked about that as well. I think it was Bart Gunn where he got knocked out by Bart Gunn, but nobody saw Bart Gunn actually being good at something, when he put them in, right? He's like, oh, he's actually good as a boxer. Uh-oh, we're screwed, right?
It's never the guy that is talking the loudest. It's always the guy that doesn't say anything or doesn't do anything. But
it's okay. They're buddies now. Like from this, they've smiled and made up, so they're cool now. So I think on Bradshaw's podcast that he has with Gerald Briscoe, they've had Blue Media on a couple of times and that stuff to talk about ECW, this deal, and the whole thing and whatever. So it's all good now. It's 20 years on. Like, I mean, if you're holding a grudge for 20 plus years or something, like, get a grip on yourself.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, that's good though. It was kind of a big mess. I mean, but it was like ECW. They had the big fight. Stone Cold was there. I wish Taz would have been more involved. Was it just maybe because Taz was not able to?
Yeah, I think it was because he was old and broke down. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's mean. When I say old and fat, I mean he had severe neck issues that ended his career, and that's why he couldn't do too much physically. Yeah,
but he was carved out as that Taz and Cole on SmackDown at that time are an amazing commentary team. They're not JR and King, but they're up there.
Yeah, amazing is a very strong word.
Like Taz and Cole.
I didn't like Cole in that period because he sounded like a little punk ass, and Taz with his like super New York Brooklyn accent was just a little too much.
I gotta send you the Howard Stern stuff that Cole and Taz did. So for a while in 2006, when they launched the Howard Stern Sirius XM channel, they had Cole as like drive time radio hosts.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a bunch of their episodes. I'll send you a couple. They're good. It's really good. I enjoy it at least.
I still love. I think a really good color moment for Taz was when the infamous superplex between Big Show and Lesnar.
Okay, yeah.
Broke and then they bleeped it, right? But it does. I think when I watched that as a kid, I remember seeing that happen and like the holy shit, like he was like. It was one of the moments where like, oh, they're actually bleeping the commentator. I was like, I mean, I think they planned. Well, obviously they planned it, but like it really. I remember that happened. Like, I remember actually got up and I was like, did that? Like that was actually the one times where the kayfabe actually got, and I was like, did they actually break the ring? Yeah. Like, did they actually? Did they? Was that an accident?
So to end the show off, as the podcast is almost getting as long as the actual pay-per-view is here, the smoke clears and the Crusaders scatter out of the ring. Austin grabs Mick Foley on the mic and says, hey, grab Eric Bischoff and pull him to the ring because Eric Bischoff makes the wise decision in all of this to go to the commentary table to sit next to Mick Foley and Joey Styles to run down ECW on commentary for whatever reason. There's a 3D on Bischoff by the Dudleys. Benoit hits the flying headbutt. I will not repeat what Stone Cold tells Benoit to do here. To
kill that son of a bitch.
Yeah. Certainly did. Ray hits the 619. And so they ask Bischoff again, what do you think of ECW? And Bischoff basically says, fuck
ECW.
Yeah, there we go. And Austin hits a stunner on Bischoff. Dudleys take Bischoff out of the building and dump him on a truck in the alley. And we go to black with the beer bash and Austin and the Sandman holding up beers at the entranceway, waving the beers about, and that's it. And that goes to black, one of the most historic WWE presented pay-per-views of all time, and definitely the most well-known ECW show ever. Yes, apparently if you watch this and you like this, you're not a true ECW fan, but it is the most well-known, the most, famous or infamous ECW show that they produced, and it's the one that probably everybody knows as a. Are you checking your liquor? What are you doing? You're distracting me big time.
Is Tanqueray supposed to smell like aftershave?
Yes. It's one of the most powerful liquors on the planet.
Well, there we go.
People use it for starting fires.
Tanqueray?
Yes.
I got it because people like gin and juice.
I think it was used as one of the more popular ones. Like gin like they think it was vodka. They use a lot of Molotov cocktails they made out of with alcohol, but it was actually gin.
My vodka doesn't smell like anything. Is that a bad sign?
I like this though.
Oh yeah, I was like, give me your beer, Austin. Here's your beer. Here's your beer.
Take that, you son of a bitch. Yeah. So, all right. We go to black. So I guess it's time for our ending thoughts on the show, and I guess we got to give our ratings out of 10 out of this. And of course, if you're brand new to this, we like to give ratings out of 10 for these shows. And just kind of different factors leading to it, our enjoyment, production, yada, 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 match flow, you name it. To me, 20 years on, this is still a landmark event, and it kind of encapsulates one of the cool things that happened out of the purchases of all the libraries and all of the properties from 2001 that WWE have done. You have never seen a WCW One Night Nitro or whatever, but you've seen ECW One Night Stand even twice. So, and I thought that this is an insane card from top to bottom. I think the only things that you can really take points off on this thing is the invasion angle, but that was WWE. You know, obviously, if they are giving ECW the pay-per-view time, they're going to instill some of their own BS in it. So there we go. And Benoit and Guerrero, I know that's not their best match, and they're kind of getting hijacked by this stupid angle going on with the Crusaders and whatever. So that kind of takes it away a little bit. But still a solid 9 out of 10 for me all time in 2025, not 2024, 2025 for ECW One Night Stand. 2005, 9 out of 10 from the Nitro Man. So, Mr. TL, what are you going to give this thing out of 10?
9.5.
9.5 out of 10. Are you just taking marks off for the invasion angle? Is that it?
Yep.
Okay.
Otherwise, it would have been a perfect 10 pay-per-view. And I have given this to people to be like, hey, this is why I like wrestling. And they started liking wrestling because of this event.
Oh, if you are new to wrestling, go seek this show out. Yes, absolutely.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah. Craig, your first time seeing this, what did you think out of 10?
I give it an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
It's really, really good pay-per-view, very good quality matches. Could definitely see the appeal, why this is so popular. Maybe just my lack of understanding of some of the things that were going on at the time and the history about it, maybe is why I have it a little bit lower, but I could definitely see why people would make this a 9 or a 10 pay-per-view. It was really good. I mean, this was one of those things is like if I had been watching wrestling and that kind of quality it was happening still, then I might have maybe would have stuck with it, because I mean I think I remember, because I was such a WWE kid and around this year, like I didn't watch this one. I remember I didn't get this pay-per-view, but then I think I do remember watching, was it the SummerSlam? The SummerSlam that year? I don't know. I just remember like it started around 2005, the end of 2005, going to 2006. That's when wrestling, like I kind of really started getting cold on it. Yeah.
SummerSlam 05 was Cena and Jericho in the main event. That was Jericho's last match.
Okay, I think I remember.
Oh, and Hogan and HBK, the overselling and the
I like that
big
match.
fight. Yeah.
I didn't get that pay-per-view. I do remember that. I do remember it happening. I remember Hogan came back. It was a big pop.
Yeah.
And then, I remember because it was going into 2006. That's when I kind of stopped watching altogether.
Okay.
So definitely after the, or was it, maybe getting, because I remember when the time Benoit, died and everything, I was already kind of like checked out wrestling. Yeah. So I think it was like kind of that early 06 that I kind of stopped watching it religiously. But like, I mean, had I seen that, maybe it'd been like, oh, this is maybe more something I should get into at the time. But so it's good.
Awesome. Right on. Oh, so there we go. So those are our ratings out of 10 for that. So in conclusion, this show still holds up 20 years on. Go see it if you haven't seen it. And the Hardcore Homecoming show that happened earlier before this, definitely not as good. And maybe one day we'll tackle the second one or whatever. But I know that this one kind of was outside of our parameters of our rules a little bit, but we figured, let's do it anyway. because it's the 20-year. It'll be the 20-year anniversary of the show anyway. So there we go. And I hope that everybody who watched this enjoyed this and that stuff. And let me just get to maybe a couple more final comments. I know Rewind 89. I don't know if he's still watching or not. He left a ton. He was talking about Taz. Oh, he just likes Taz a lot. So he was just spamming the chat about Taz. Yeah, but we talked on his main part there.
It's the damnedest thing. My Angostura 7-year smells like banana, but my Havana Club 3-year smells like diesel.
Yeah, because it's Havana Club, yes.
But it's from Cuba.
Yes, that's all their stuff smells all from Cuba. Havana Club. Havana Club is like that's the liquor that you get leaving the airport in Havana.
Yeah, that's right. This is the real stuff.
Yeah.
It smells like diesel.
There's a reason why they sell that at the airport.
Because you can't get it out here.
No, it's because it's cheap and they overprice it at the airport, so they get rid of bottles of it. That's why.
But this one smells like banana.
Because what's that one?
This is a Angostura Trinidad rum.
Okay. Well, because it's Trinidadian rum, yeah.
Are we allowed to not promote, but
it's an ECW stream. It's who am I kidding? This channel's not monetized yet. We're good. So
woo!
we're allowed to be free and do what we want here so far. So yes.
Are we done?
We're done to show. Yes. We'll end it on this. Is that it is CraigPFraser's turn to pick a pay-per-view. By the way. Yeah. I'm going to say that with the move of the library to Netflix, this next round might be a little bit limited until they start building the library up. You'll probably have to pick from the WWE back catalog of pay-per-views only, because the availability of WCW and ECW stuff obviously is not quite there. But if there's something off of the grid that you'd like for us to take a look at, you could probably let us know. But otherwise, they moved a ton of WWE stuff on Netflix, and I think that we can end the show kind of talking about that a little bit. I don't know if you guys have been exploring it or not, but 1 second, he's got something going. But we'll talk just quickly, you and I, Mr. TL. What do you think of the back catalog on Netflix that WWE's rolled out?
It's weak. I can't even find One Night Stand, the one that we just reviewed.
I know, Netflix. Yeah. I know. I had to supply it for you guys.
They give you a back catalog of Survivor Series, SummerSlam, and WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
Royal Rumble, but that's about it.
That's about it. Yes,
yeah. It's very limited.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't like it.
Yeah,
I like the network.
I think I love the network, obviously, because it'd be something that would be better to do. So
you're gonna have to break out your spindle.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Is thankfully I got a lot of physical stuff here, but the thing is that you kind of got used to having everything at your fingertips, and that was about it. So
spindle.
So, and it would not be a Retro's Nitro take if we didn't hear from the governor one more time. He's got another Saturday night's main event coming up in a couple of weeks from San Antonio. Mr. Governor, are you with us for the first time in 2025?
I'll actually tell you where I'm at right now, Kellen. I'm still in the Baja right now, making a Baja salad from Costco.
Are you drinking a Baja Blast from Mountain Dew by chance?
You tell me what I'm drinking.
What is in the Baja Blast from Mountain Dew?
Well, what was put into the Baja Blast was initially a chemical trail operation from the CIA called Operation Peeing Blue. It was designated
Blue.
Code word name done by the CIA, because what we were doing was we were using Martin Lawrence's comedy tapes as a dog whistle call when he did certain jokes in the movie Blue Streak to activate PSYOP of operatives who were drinking Baja Blast and using it in top-tier assassinations, for instance, in Guatemala.
So Martin Lawrence is the new Frankie Goes to Hollywood. That's basically it.
Exactly.
From
Whenever
Zoolander.
Lawrence, his comedy specials are from specifically the movie Blue Streak was used to assassinate high-profile targets by the CIA.
Well, Mr. TL is sitting here just shaking his head. Poor guy.
Well, he should be drinking some Tanqueray.
Tanqueray.
Which is one very, very powerful alcohol that was used in Operation Beast Note to keep everybody drunk so they wouldn't be activated by the sound of Sinead O'Connor.
Here comes the pig again. Stromboli.
Stromboli was never real.
Okay. Well, that kind of contradicts everything from last year.
I didn't
that you were
say
feeding
that.
us.
You tell me what I said.
Well, you go back to Royal Rumble 91, the show that we did. You were saying it, but anyway, whatever. That's not me here near there. But thank you very much, Mr. Governor. I do appreciate.
Oh, he was very, very glad to come on again.
He's kind of losing it in his old age. I'm kind of
absolutely.
Yeah.
Don't worry about Jesse.
Oh, now he's losing it.
Yes.
Not any of the stories he had before. Now he's losing it.
Hey, he might have been onto something with the chemtrail thing. That's all I'm saying.
He had a silo full of tortillas, but now he's losing it.
You don't. Have you been to Costco lately? They sell them in big boxes.
No, they do not.
Okay.
Get the pitas. Pitas in the bag.
Get the pitas. Yes. Get the flatbread so you can do the wraps. So,
oh god.
Anyways, I think it's time to be moseying on here now. So, if you have a show you'd like for us to take a look at, just email us at nitromaniactv@gmail.com. Of course, the only qualifiers we have is that it has to be readily available on a streaming service or on physical media somewhere or whatever. I guess now, whatever. We'll talk to you in the email if you want to suggest something. My social media is at Kellen Nitro on everything. You can follow me wherever and whenever you see that hashtag. So Blue Sky, the Twitter X, Instagram, you name it. I'm all over. So, and Craig, yours is, I always screw yours up. It's what
CraigPFraser.
Okay, so yeah, I had it right this time. Yes, I did. No, yes, there we go. Boom. Follow him on the Twitter and. Yes.
Or don't. Doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah. It doesn't matter.
Do what you want.
He's a good guy. And then, Ty, what do you think? What's yours, Mr. TL?
That TMLoutan, just like it says on the screen. Now,
there we
to
go.
a bit of business.
Okay.
This episode has reignited within me the craving to go back
in time
to something that we had not finished nor started, which was
hang on, wait a time out. How can we not finish something that we haven't even started?
Well, let me explain to you.
Okay.
I was supposed to take Mr. CraigPFraser to court over who had the more impactful moment in wrestling. The NWO versus the screw job. Now, seeing how he so poorly argued tonight of this song you speak of by just saying, nope, you're wrong. Awful. Sincerely awful. Which is why I must debate you now on this thing, which we never did get to start nor finish.
Oh, we never did hit on it. I thought we did that, but I guess we did.
We never did. We never went to court and had Mr. Nitro as the judge.
Did we? Yeah. We said that we were going to do that, and then we took the summer hiatus. That's right.
That's right. We took a summer hiatus and we kind of forgot about it. But now, after this argument of the better song, let's go back to wrestling where we should be and talk about who is more impactful, the NWO or the Screwjob.
So we're talking about the debut of the NWO specifically, the Hogan heel
bigger
turn
moment in
96.
wrestling.
Yeah,
we were supposed to do this as a court thing.
Yeah.
And we never got to it, but now I want to get back to it.
Gotcha.
Because it was fun, actually. That was the most fun part of this whole episode, is discussing the non-wrestling parts.
Gotcha. Well, because it's a well-liked show. That's the problem. It's like if this show was dog crap, it would be, it would be the wrestling itself, right? But no, this show was good. So I'm going to tell the Undertaker, by the way, to go rest in peace.
I need him to answer. He's just looking at nothing.
Have you ever seen the movie Frozen?
They're just going to tell him to let it go, let it go.
Let it go. Let it go.
Oh, great. He's a Disney princess now.
Just like the hairline you have.
Let it go.
Oh,
Let it go.
That's not nice.
I'm trying to goad him into this.
Nope, I refuse.
We had a deal.
No,
This was an episode we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Nope.
See, I know. So that's bad.
What do you mean, no?
I'll be the referee.
No, I'm the ref. If we do
I was
this.
supposed to be the referee, but then he stole it because it's his show.
It's my channel. I can do what I want.
Yeah, see, he pulled that card. So then it became us as the lawyers.
I'm not a lawyer though.
I can't remember who took what side. You took what?
I had the screw job side. He
Your
had the NWO
okay,
side.
so your screw job, your NWO Bash at the Beach.
But he just said he's not a lawyer. He doesn't. You're not compelled to do this anymore.
No.
Well, it's up to Craig. It's his turn with the rotation, so we could go that way. Or if he wants to do this, we could do this for the next show. It doesn't matter to me.
I was thinking a few other pay-per-views I want to do.
Oh, okay.
Some old WWE pay-per-views, maybe.
Yeah. There you go. We know what your likes are in talent, so we'll prep ourselves for that.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
And
just
with
want
the
to say,
You're a coward warrior. You're a yellow warrior.
it is Rumble season, by the way, folks. So you can go ahead and take a look at that that
You
recap
won't
we did
beat
last
me
year.
in court, warrior.
Wow.
Are you strong, warrior?
Unreal. Well, if you stuck with us this long, you're a hardcore fan. Thank you very much for checking us out, for sure. And to those leaving comments and that stuff, shout out to you who left comments tonight and that stuff. I know Rewind 89 had a bunch of comments, so shout out to him for watching. Who was our fellow that was watching from South Carolina? Yes, Chris Morton, Charleston, South Carolina. Good evening. Yes, thank you very much. I hope you had a great evening with us or checking us out on the
warrior.
delay. I'm thanking people. Do you mind?
Are you honorable, warrior?
Wow. It's just unreal. But anyways, for Mr. TL, for CraigPFraser, I'm Kellen Nitro, and for the RuPaul rookie card, there we go. One more look at that. Rubalakis of the rookie. I think that's supposed to say rookie in the red thing.
I think so. Maybe.
And then I have no idea what the.
I still don't know why this was created.
It definitely is cursed media that way. So RuPaul rookie card. But anyways, I'm Kellen Nitro. Later days. Happy wrestling watching. We'll catch you next time here on the channel on Nitro Maniac TV's Wrestling Unlimited. Do take care and welcome to 2020-25.
Fight me! I want to see you in court, damn it.
It's amusing to see you try.
You got the little man, you got the big man, and you got the bigger man.